help you, is to help this country, is to help, right, the 50 million low-income Americans that are on Medicaid. He's on the live.
Okay. Can you hear me? Hello.
Now I can hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a phone call. But we can. I mean, if you ever let me up again, if I ever join your queue, we can finish the conversation.
Why can't we?
I don't want to take up too much of your time.
You're not taking up too much of my time at all.
No, because I have a quick phone call that I have to attend to, so I'm not going to prolong your live for you to wait on me. You can move on to somebody else.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to hop back in the queue like after your phone call? Could I?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. After the phone call, you can let
so
me back
I could expect to see you in 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes. That's fine.
All right, you got it, man. I'll be speaking to you soon, hopefully, right? We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. Hop inside of that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump and you want to come up here and have a debate with me. We're just going to quickly put the rules back up on screen for a second, go over them, then move on to the next guest. All right, if you're on TikTok and you're trying to join, give me your full attention real quick so we can go over the rules. Only join the queue if you are 18 plus. That's talking about your age. You are American. That's talking about your citizenship. And you are MAGA. That's talking about your political affiliation, meaning that you support Trump as president, and you are ready to debate the prompt, that prompt being, how the hell do you still support Trump? Keep in mind, if you're in that queue and you don't, right, and you're not following these rules, you don't support Trump, so on and so forth, if I bring you up onto the live, I'm going to ban you, right? So I would just highly recommend you leave the queue now. So let's go ahead and move on to the next guest, guys. Let me know in that comment section if you're MAGA and you want to come up here and skip that line. While we're getting the next guest up here, let me go to thank a handful of people here. Ray, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo, saying that you left your ex because he supported Trump. Let's fucking go, Ray. Appreciate you for the 5. Good luck for your future endeavors. As well as Gotham, thank you for the $5 on Venmo, saying that you rock, man. Thank you, Gotham. And Tylee, last donation here. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal, saying that you've been listening to me for years and recently your independent boyfriend has been convinced he's liberal now because of you. Bro, let's fucking go. Huge shout out to you, Tylee, and huge shout out to your boyfriend as well. I hope that you guys have a good relationship and everything is rainbows and sunshine for y'all, for real. Thank you for the $10. Show some love to Tylee down below in that chat. What's up, Gino? Is that how I pronounce your name?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
19.
And how long do you expect me to believe that for?
About no seconds.
Moving on to the next guest. Dude, we got JRB loading up into the box. Jesus Christ. Jennifer, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Jennifer says, do you believe Trump when he says he's going to make sure the military members get paid? I'm unsure. Okay, yeah, Trump has to say that. If he doesn't say that, it's literally like political suicide. It is such a bad look if he doesn't say that. However, we've already seen Republicans in Congress say that they are not going to do it. What's going on, JRB? Do you support Trump?
I mean, I do, but I'm also coming on here because I don't know. I'm 19 years old. I was born in 2006. I'm from the United States. I don't really know who to go for. I've been watching your lives trying to get more in depth with politics because I want to start learning about them. But yeah, I was just asking how do I which side should I go for? Obviously, I know you're more blue.
I'm obviously going to tell you to just go for the side that aligns with the reality, and I think that right now that side's going to be the left.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you explain why? Because I understand some of the points that Trump makes, but I feel like it is a lot. I like what he does with the wars. I feel like with the thing that's going on in the Middle East.
Right now, the Gaza peace deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I feel
I want to wait to see how that ends up working, right? But what I will say is that I've seen many videos on my For You page of people in Gaza, in Palestine, right, that are celebrating, that are happy, and apparently there's food trucks going back into Palestine right now, and that's a good thing, right? So I want to be optimistic, and I really want the genocide to come to an end, and I'm really hoping that it does, right? 110%. But from Trump, I mean, we saw him less than 3 months ago hold a joint press conference with Netanyahu, where he told Netanyahu that he would allow American troops to go into Gaza and to ethnically cleanse all of the remaining Palestinians on the Strip, while then also forcefully relocating them to Jordan and Egypt, right? And then not even a month ago, we saw Israel kill all of the remaining Al Jazeera press members in Gaza and pass legislation through their parliament to like legalize, according to themselves, right, the forceful annexation of the rest of the Strip. In my mind, what I think has happened is we've seen an increasing global pressure against what Israel's doing, with Canada recognizing the statehood of Palestine, same thing with Australia, and then Germany cutting off all arms shipments to Israel. That now Israel's at a point where they want an out, right, because the world's starting to turn on them, and Donald Trump wants a political opportunity to make himself look good, so he's going to try to help him with that. But I actually don't think that Donald Trump cares at Palestine at all for the reasons I just gave and more.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like I understand what you're saying, and I could see how you see that.
Yeah, but like I said, I really do hope that it comes to an end. I want Palestinians to stop dying. I want the ethnic cleansing to stop, and I really do hope that it comes to an end.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like because I was 18, so I was able to vote when the last election happened for the president candidates. I was more leaning towards Trump because I feel like he did a lot more when he was president than Kamala being vice president. Now that's obviously because like president and vice president, that's a different thing. But I feel like if Kamala was president, it would be like different. Like I was worried about like the war with Russia that was happening in Ukraine, how like we were allowing so much money to be given to them, to be given to Ukraine, and Russia was kind of getting pissed. And then when Trump became president, that kind of died down a lot.
Wait, you think that Russia's ethnic cleansing of Ukraine died down? No, not at all. Russia actually started to drop the most bombs they ever have since their original invasion of Ukraine under the Biden-Harris administration, right, on Ukraine right now, as well as in response to your original claim, right, saying that Donald Trump did more in his first term compared to what Kamala Harris did as VP. That's also just evidently false. Kamala Harris worked on and passed the CHIPS Act, the PACT Act, the American Rescue Plan, the Infrastructure Bill, the Inflation Reduction Act. What did Trump do in his first term?
Like I said, I looked some of it up, but that's why I was also coming on here to ask you, like, what, like, side I should go for. Obviously, you're going to tell me to go for the left. But I feel like it is, like, definitely, like, a thing of, like, oh, I don't really know what to do. Like, I don't know what side to go for.
Yeah, well, let me try to help you out real quick. I think I could help you make up your mind super duper quickly. Do you think that fascism is bad?
Fascism as in
ultranationalist authoritarian government regime, typically defined by 14 tenets, including state-controlled media, identification of enemy as a unifying cause for their base, suppression of human rights, suppression of the labor force, upholding of corporate power, cronyism and corruption, fraudulent elections. Fascism. Is that bad?
Yeah, I think it's bad.
Okay, awesome. See, I agree. So does that mean that you'd consider yourself to be against fascists or like anti-fascism?
Yes. So are you saying that Trump's a fascist? Because I've watched some of your lives. Is that what you're saying?
No, I do think that Donald Trump fulfills the tenets of fascism. That is true. But that's actually not where I'm going with this argument. So, because you're anti-fascism, right, you would consider yourself to be like anti-fascist?
Yeah.
Okay, like Antifa. So Antifa just means anti-fascist. So you're Antifa?
Mm-hmm.
According to Trump, you just admitted to being a domestic terrorist.
Okay.
Right. So are you sure that you want to side with the people that think you're a domestic terrorist?
Yeah, definitely not.
Exactly.
That's why I was coming on here, because I do appreciate what you do, and I wanted to come on here because I was like surprised I even got picked,
Cool, man. Yeah, well, I really appreciate you for coming up. Is there anything else that you want to go over?
Yeah, I wanted to go over really quickly the Iran and Israel war that was happening, where we kind of got involved with the Trump thing. You tend to make a lot of claims on your videos and lives sometimes, like when the Iran war was happening, and we dropped, some bombs on their nuclear sites.
Yeah.
I feel like it was, when I saw that, it kind of got me like a little obviously worried. I thought we were going to get into a full like war with Iran.
Well, I mean, of
But I
course,
also
Donald Trump
don't-
publicly called for a regime change. Donald Trump said that we controlled their airspace. We know where their leader was, and we could kill him. We dropped bombs on their country, and I mean, then they even launched a retaliatory attack against one of our military bases in Qatar. Of course, that should scare you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it was because I learned about it. I learned about some of it. I was kind of looking it up and looking stuff up, the news, a lot of news outlets, I feel make it sound like it's way worse than it is, But I know it's dropping bombs on some other country, but I feel like the Iran gonna drop a nuke on us or something like that, or on the US sites in the Middle East. You were kind of saying that in your videos, which was almost sounded like fear mongering in a way.
They did. They did. They launched 12 missiles at one of our military bases in Qatar. That's true.
Well, did any of them hit, or was it didn't a couple of them hit and then the other ones got intercepted?
So a couple hit on the perimeter of the base, and all the other ones were intercepted. That doesn't change the fact that they launched the missiles at the military base.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering about that because I didn't really know what to think about that, because I get I have really bad anxiety, and so seeing people post about stuff like that, I'm
yeah,
and then not really hearing
that whole
about
thing could have
anything on the
been
news.
that whole thing could have been completely avoided if Donald Trump didn't pull us out of the nuclear peace agreement that we had with Iran signed under Obama. In his first administration, he pulled us out of the JCPOA, which greenlit Iran into further construction of nukes, which then allowed and permits Netanyahu, Israel, and even America into fear mongering about them having nukes. If you want to know who the real fear mongers are on the issue, look no further than Netanyahu with Israel, who's been claiming since the 70s that they're 3 days away from having nuclear weapons, and they're going to bomb the shit out of Israel, and they're going to bomb the shit out of America. But yeah, JRB, I'm going to move on to the next guest. You have a good rest of your day, man.
Cool. Thank you. You too.
All right, guys, hop in that queue of your MAGA. We'll happily get you loaded up into the live stream. If you do want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio over on TikTok. What's going on, Robert? Do you support Trump? Robert, you got 5 seconds. Yeah, it is a child. Guys, we're going to go and repeat the rules just because it's been a while since we last repeated them, guys. The rules are super simple. If you want to join up, you just got to be an American adult that supports Trump as president. Hey, let's okay. That's going to be a little kid. Please stay out of my queue unless you're following the rules, please. I'm literally begging you. Just follow the rules today. What's up, Richard? Do you support Trump?
What's up?
You're not even Zeno, do you support Trump?
Yes, I was on Parker's live last night. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, your mic is really muffled. Is there anything that you could do about that?
Is this better? Is this better?
Maybe a little bit. So I heard you claiming that you thought that me and Parker were paid by the DNC.
Yeah, I was just typing to rage bait because I.
All right, then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. Let's go to get that next guest, Jerry, loaded up into the box, guys. While we're loading Jerry up, let's see here. What's up, Jerry? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
28.
28. All right, you're of age. Let me go and thank a couple people here real quick. Carolina, thank you for the $10 donation over on PayPal. Carolina just dropped some hearts. Thank you so much for the love, Carolina. Let's get 100 Carolina W's down below, as well as the Little Dog Shop. Thank you so much for the $31 donation on PayPal. Let's get 300 Little Dog Shop W's down below. Seriously, thank you so much for the love. They say I listen to you, Parker, you and Parker every morning from Australia. Well, we really appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you're enjoying this stream. And thank you for the $31, as well as R. Thank you for the $5 over on PayPal, and Vivian with the 3. Yeah, dude, Mr. Jerry, how the hell?
Wait, before I tell you, I want to tell you something, bro. I've been wanting to tell you for a while, brother. Listen, I used to have a lot of disdain for the Democrats, right? And what you did when Charlie Kirk passed, bro, and you showed that emotion, bro, I actually got love for you, bro. I used to really have disdain for you, bro. You got a good heart, man. I just wanted to say this before we battle, bro. You're a good person, brother.
I think that so many people on both the left and the right totally misinterpreted why I shed tears. It's the people on the left, the people on the left misinterpret, some people on the left misinterpret it and think that I'm crying over some white supremacist. Then people on the right think that I'm crying because I'm really sad and miss Charlie.
You're human, brother.
But like I mean I want to repeat this for like one last time, dude. Like the reason why I cried, it's really simple. It's like incredibly simple. I'm just sensitive to gore, and it scared the shit out of me thinking it could happen to myself. But you know, Jared, I mean maybe the silver lining there is the fact that you're going to be more receptive to like hearing me out in a debate. So
no, because the reason why I brought that up.
Why do you support Trump?
All right, this is the last point, and then I'll tell you why I support Trump. So this is why this is important, because how the right sees you is how the left sees Charlie Kirk. So that's a good premise to have because a lot of people.
I mean, I hope that you don't think I'm a white supremacist, right?
No. But I'm saying, so what you see as a white supremacist is not white supremacist to the people on the right? And then what they see
I hope it should be, right? Like,
no, because a lot of them think DEI is racist towards white people.
Like we should like overturn the Civil Rights Act. Like that's obviously like a white supremacist like statement, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to defend Charlie Kirk. I'm not really a huge fan of him anyway. But I'll tell you why I supported Trump. Now, me supporting somebody doesn't mean I voted for him. I just want to clarify, but I do support him.
You didn't vote for Trump? Who did you vote for?
I support Trump currently right now.
Okay, just like literally out of curiosity, like who did you vote for in the election?
Do I have to tell you? Yeah,
I'm just curious.
I can't, brother. I just can't.
Did you vote for Harris and you've changed your mind?
I currently listen. I have no choice but to support, because I like to keep my vote private. But I currently support Trump. Currently, yes, because I like. So I'll tell you why.
Dude, it just sounds like you like voted for Harris in the election. You support Trump today, and you're just super ashamed to admit that you've somehow.
That's not what happened, brother.
Did you vote for Jill Stein?
I don't want to embarrass myself, brother. Can I? Did
you vote for like an independent candidate? You didn't vote at all? Okay, whatever. Fine. Just tell us why you support Trump.
1,000% voted. 1,000% voted.
Boy, well, now I'm just super curious.
Voted. Brother, can we get to the conversation, brother?
Yeah, it's just like it's just interesting that you have so much like shame and embarrassment out of your.
Yes. Sometimes voting for both parties is embarrassing.
Did you like write in RFK?
Stop it, brother.
You definitely wrote in RFK.
Are you trying to embarrass me?
Well, Victoria, thank you for the motorcycle. Okay, I'll just drop it there. Tell us why you support Trump.
All right, so let's speak geopolitically. All right, so I think Trump should win a Nobel Peace Prize. All right,
dude. Oh,
and I'll tell you why.
Guess what? The Nobel laureates disagreed.
Wow. Flick off, huh? I thought you was better than
that shit's getting serious, Jared. We're here now.
All right. So the reason why, because if you look at the America is divided on this Israel and Palestine situation, right? As they should be, right? But we're not really diving in on the root cause behind why America has this disdain for Israel. And what's going on is a lot of people has been indoctrinated to have this same disdain for Jewish Americans. So people don't know how to make the distinction between Jewish Americans who've been patriots in this country and Israeli government who is doing I would say, well, yeah, they're doing a bad job on how they deal with this conflict, right?
I would say that there is a lot of people in this country that cannot like differentiate between somebody being religiously Jewish and somebody being in support of the government of Israel. But I think it's like an imperative to inform you that the many Americans that can't make that distinction are like on the far right. They're fans of
Nick Fuentes. They're on the far left.
Are you familiar with what a groiper is?
Yes, I know about Nick Fuentes, but are you familiar
Are you familiar with the fact that Nick Fuentes is just a mask-off neo-Nazi that openly hates Jewish individuals, and he's been like in very loud criticism of the state of Israel, and like some of his like specific criticisms of the state have been true, but then where he absolutely loses me and should lose everybody else is when he then equivocates those criticisms to everybody that is ethnically or religiously Jewish, regardless of their ideological beliefs.
That's a good point. So my point is, the far left and the far right, when it comes to Israel, is two sides of the same coin, right? So for every Nick Fuentes, there's Black Lives Matter Chicago, who right after the day of October 7th happened, they had a parachute saying "Free Palestine," basically co-signing what Hamas did to Israelis.
Wait, saying "Free Palestine," right, is not saying
no,
that I want
listen,
Israeli citizens to die. That those two sentences do not mean the same thing, right? And in fact, I would argue that the equivocation that you're making by attempting to make them say the same thing, right, is like incredibly morally perverse, right? I'm sorry that like I'm a common sense humanitarianist that doesn't like the deaths of innocent men, women, and children. Therefore, I don't support the oppressive apartheid that the state of Israel has held over the state of Palestine for generations now, and the ongoing ethnic cleansing of hundreds of thousands of individuals on the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank. That makes me ultimately pro Palestine, and it'll lead me to say things such as "Free Palestine." That actually doesn't mean that I think that like innocent Israeli citizens, for instance, should die, right? And that equivocation is incredibly terrible.
Wait, hold on, because you don't know. You obviously don't know the context. That's why you're saying this. So, just the context. October 7th happened. Right now, I just want to say this. I'm pro two-state solution, by the way. But I just want to clarify.
Where does Trump come into this? I mean, listen, man. Like, the point of this live is to try to like figure out why you support
together a peace plan between two people who've been at war longer than Bloods and Crips. Okay, so if Trump can pull this off, right, he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. He's going to bring peace to the Middle East, right? He started with the Abraham Accords, right?
The Abraham Accords that explicitly left out Palestine, leading to increased global tensions.
Okay, I can see to that. And now, so are you saying that if he stops the war in Gaza, he doesn't deserve a Nobel Peace Prize? Yes or no?
Actually, my answer to that question would be no, and I could explain why. I would agree.
Wow.
Okay, so would you like to give me like a shock jock reaction and just yell wow, or do you want me to explain?
I'm sorry.
Right. So like I could agree, like if the Trump administration inevitably like stops Israel's like ongoing ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians, that like that's going to be like a materially like good outcome. Like I want Palestinians to stop dying. I want innocent children to stop being shot in the back of the head, right, with bullets from IDF soldiers, right? I want to stop the starvation of literal newborns, okay? All those things are bad. So if those things stop, that's great. All right. But I think it is like so incredibly important to me to be able to paint the full picture here of how instrumental, right, not just Trump, but like a lot of people in the American government have been for the ongoing ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians, right, for generations too, right? Like even Trump 2 months ago, he held a joint press conference with Netanyahu where he was boasting and gloating about how he wanted to send America into the Gaza Strip to forcefully relocate the remaining 1.2 million Palestinians to Jordan and Egypt, amounting to a finished ethnic cleansing,
negotiation.
Right,
negotiation tactic,
and then to level the Gaza Strip and build a Riviera and gift it to Netanyahu. When he then turned around and posted pictures of the AI Gaza Strip Riviera on Twitter, Instagram, so on and so forth. Right. It's also imperative to point out here that Donald Trump has been perpetually calling Netanyahu a goddamn war hero, saying that Israel is our best fucking friend. And in the debate with Biden before the election, he said he was the most pro-Israel president this country's ever had, and called Biden a dirty Palestinian, and even said while he was running for the presidency that he was literally going to deport quote unquote pro-Hamas terrorists, and then labeled anybody that advocated for Palestine as a pro-Hamas terrorist. I think that Donald Trump is an opportunist, as all con men are, and we have seen an increase in global support for the end of the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people, from Canada recognizing their statehood, to Australia recognizing their statehood, to France and Germany revoking arms, right, to an increase in popularity of the pro-Palestinian sentiment in the media, in younger Americans, so on and so forth. Donald Trump sees this as an opportunity to hop in there and tell Israel, guess what? You guys are unpopular, right? You guys are running out of money, right? People want to recognize Palestinian statehood, which is in direct contradiction with the policy that you just passed, claiming that you want to annex the rest of the Gaza Strip. I'm going to take advantage of of that. I'm going to call myself Jesus 2.0 after funding you for like the last fucking, I don't know, 10, 15 years, including in his first term, after saying that I support you full-heartedly and I want you to quote unquote finish the job in 2023. And I don't think that this would amount to granting him a peace prize, especially when we consider everything else that he's doing, like renaming the Department of Defense to the Department of War, declaring war in American cities, giving the military an illegal directive to arrest American citizens on the street, and then also turning around, being held civilly liable for the rape of a woman, committing 34 felonies, and labeling all anti-fascists in this country as domestic terrorists. Why the hell would we ever call that individual somebody of that nature as somebody that is courageous, genuine, and for the betterment of the people?
Hold on, brother. Calm down. What the
You heard me.
all right, so let me respond at one point. God damn. So you're a smart guy, I'll give you that. So you don't see, I read the art of the deal, right? So when he talks about he's going to turn the Gaza Strip into a hotel resort, this is hardball negotiation tactic. He's not really going to do this, right? This is the art of the deal, so we can lead up to what's going on now, which is a potential peace agreement between two groups that's been beefing more than GDs and vice lords in Chicago. All right. So
who's the negotiation with?
I'm sorry, what?
Who was the negotiation with?
Hamas and IDF and the Likud party, which is Benjamin Netanyahu.
So he was just She was just negotiating with Hamas by telling them that he plans on like ethnically cleansing.
No,
2 million
listen.
Palestinians? No, that's
so.
not.
What he did was he said, "Okay, here's our proposition. Right? We want you guys to concede to give up weapons, give up hostages, and then on the Israeli side they'll do this. And because if you don't, it will lead to potential. Now he didn't say ethnic cleansing, but it could lead to an ethnic cleansing, right? So the Hamas leaders conceded. Benjamin Netanyahu agreed, right? So if he creates peace, right, this will literally bring Americans together, because this has been a divide amongst the left and the right, right? The far right are just anti-Semites who hate Jewish people and blame them for all of their just stereotypical, they control stuff, typical stereotype. And then the far left, right, has been radicalized by the conflict between the West Gaza Strip and the IDF.
Well, I appreciate you for the love.
Right. So my thing is the fact that you can't concede that he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, because this is one of the biggest wars and divisions in world history. And Donald Trump, the art of the deal maker, right? He could potentially squash this beef. And for you to say he doesn't deserve a Nobel Peace Prize, you're putting your politics before your morality.
Well, I gave you about a billion reasons why I don't think he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, as well as I added on additional context.
But what if it happens? What if it happens?
All right. Well, I already answered that question, and I answered.
All right, let's debate.
Okay.
All right, can we do immigration just
Jesus
before
Christ.
I get about here?
Oh my God, Jerry. It's almost like you don't even want me to respond to what you just said. What about immigration?
Because
we're all over the place.
All right, so let's start with so I don't have a problem with legal immigration, right? So I've been tricked to believe
Donald Trump does. He wants to charge companies $100,000 for H-1B visas.
That's brilliant.
I thought you just said that you don't have a problem with legal immigration.
Yeah,
calling it
legal. Yeah, but you can pay
non-legal immigration. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant for America. Yes, it goes to. Yes, and then he said that he's going to give American taxpayers $2,000 of that money. I think tariffs money or the visa money.
Yeah, he said he was going to give each individual taxpayer $5,000 back from Doge. When did that happen? Vaden, thank you for the globe. Oh, wait, he actually didn't give the average American anything back from the Doge cuts. In fact, he just charged them more according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. When he passed the big, beautiful bill, it's reducing the purchasing power of over 156 million American citizens, making at or under $51,000 per year. See, you got fucking conned. Art of the deal, my friend.
Yo, your name is Dean GBT. Like, how are you reading something? Like, what? You like a robot? What the fuck?
I'm not reading anything, dude. I keep the facts stored in the brain.
All right, so let's get to the undocumented. So my thing is, see, I was tricked to believing that undocumented immigrants, right, and the Republican Party is trying to split up families. Let me get this full thought out, please, brother.
I'm not going to interrupt you. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so what happened was, right, it's not about families being torn apart or sending people back or whether they should be here or not, right? It's about cheap labor. Because I know that I live in California, right? A lot of undocumented immigrants are in the agricultural sector, hospitality, right? And other fields. And what happens is they get exploited for their labor. That's one point. And then let me get to my second point. The second point, because it's about the bottom line. It's not about morality. It's not about, because these people get exploited for their labor by Americans, whether it's Democrats and Republican states. That's my first point. The second point is, I talk to a lot of immigrants, undocumented, right? Because I got a cousin that used to bring them over here for like $5,000. So I talked to a lot of them, right? And they literally told me out of their own mouth the stuff that they got to deal with the cartel. The cartel literally charges them like $10,000 just to bring them to the United States. And then if they don't pay the money, they will kidnap families. So the stuff that they got to go through, I'd rather them come over here legally, get paid the same amount of wage that Americans do, and not get exploited. But y'all more worried about families getting torn apart, but really they're getting exploited for their labor.
Dude,
that's really what it's coming down to.
Here's the crazy thing, right? There's actually like a lot of things that you just said there that I agree with. But I yield a completely different conclusion from you on like what the next step is. We'll start off with like the exploitation of labor part. It is absolutely true that in this country, the labor of undocumented immigrants is exploitative by nature, right? Because even though undocumented immigrants technically have the same legal protections as like a citizen or as a resident under like the Equal Protections Clause of the 14th Amendment, right? They're still significantly easier to exploit because they don't have long-term survivability in the market because they could be deported, right? If they're unemployed, they can't access any federal social safety nets and many state benefits, meaning that they could starve to death or like die from harsh weather conditions because they can't have any housing, right? And they get paid significantly less for the same job when compared to a resident or citizen because they have less bargaining power in the labor force, right? But maybe, just maybe, the solution to fix that exploitation isn't to rip the families apart, which is, by the way, completely true. The Trump administration wants to deport a father, Abrigo Garcia, to fucking Uganda while his wife either stays here or in El Salvador. So they are ripping families apart. And maybe the solution is rather to instead offer undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship through mass amnesty so they could be a resident or citizen, they could access those federal and state benefits, they could have long-term survivability in the market, they're not under the threat of being deported, so therefore they have just as much bargaining power in the labor force as you or I, so then they automatically collect higher wages for the same labor they're doing now, and they're more incentivized to work over the table since they could file for a tax return and claim those benefits, meaning that they'll go from paying $100 billion per year in taxes to significantly more than $100 billion per year in taxes, meaning that they'll go from contributing $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion to the GDP per year to significantly more than that annually. That sounds like the better solution to me.
Damn. Yo, there's no way. Your name should be Dean ChatGPT. There's no fucking way you're. That's just off the top of the dome.
Well, I mean, listen, Jared. I've had like similar conversations to this, like every day since I do these debate streams. So after like,
well, at least you conceded to the part where they're getting exploited, because a lot of Democrats be trying to act like they don't know that these undocumented immigrants are their labor is being exploited. So. You just have a different solution on how you deal with it, right?
Right. Yes, it's a different solution. But like, honestly, Jared, from my perspective, I don't even call mass deportation a solution, because what does it fix? What does it help? Right? Undocumented immigrants are still like living better lives in this country than they were wherever they came from. And that's the reason they immigrated in the first place. Right? So do you think that breaking apart the families violated their constitutional rights, sending some of them to be beaten and tortured in Secot and El Salvador is like the solution to fix that exploitation? No, it's just more exploitation, and it just gives like then it gives the optical appearance to the presidency that maybe he's a problem solver, when in all reality it's breaking apart the families, it's leading to human right conundrums, and it's destroying our economy by firing 8.3 million of our laborers and removing 11 million of our consumers, right? So yeah, right, so I have a different solution than you, but the difference in our solutions is that I think mine only comes with benefits, and I think that yours only comes with detriments.
All right, so now it might be a detriment to them. Now, I'm going to be selfish right now, but it's going to be a benefit for, all right, because I'm a black male, right? So there was a study right? A Harvard study. I don't know. I think it was 2009 or 2019. I think 2009, right? And they did. They said anywhere you see an influx of undocumented immigrants, right, due to their working for cheap labor, you see an increase in black male incarceration and a decrease in black male labor work, right? So the reason for that is a lot of these companies, construction, agricultural, they prefer the cheap wager because it's not about hard work. People are going to try to paint this narrative, oh, y'all don't want those jobs, which is a false narrative, right? These employers rather pay these undocumented immigrants who are not American than they would somebody who has a history of being exploited in the labor market, which is black people, right? So what this does is when you see an influx, this is a Harvard study, you see an influx of undocumented immigrants in a specific city, especially these sanctuary cities, you see a decrease in the black male labor market and an increase in mass incarceration, which is free labor, right? So this is the mind games that the Democratic Party does, right? They try to act like they care about something, but really it's about labor, and then they leave out American citizens who've been exploited in the labor market historically, which is black people.
Cool. Before I respond to that, I'm just going to thank a handful of people for their donations. Jay, thank you so much for the $10 over on Super Chat. Show some love to Jay in that chat. Jay says if he thinks that Donald Trump says that aren't seriously expressing Trump's intent, what is his method of differentiating what Donald Trump says that is serious and what Donald Trump says that is unserious? You know, that actually is a good question. We hear that a lot from Trump supporters, just arguing that like Donald Trump never means what he says. So then how do they determine in any circumstance whatsoever? Thank you for the love. And I'm going to be honest, it looks like my computer actually crashed trying to read through the other super chats. So while my Google Chrome catches up to speed, I'm just going to read the other ones off my phone super duper quickly. Nally, thank you for the $6 over on PayPal. Sunny, thank you for the $5 on PayPal. Thank you so much. Julia, thank you for the $10 on PayPal, saying thank you for making the world a better place every day. Thank you so much for the love, Julia. Let's get 100 Julia W's. And then once again, Yuri, thank you for the $5 on PayPal. We're all cut up over there. Let's take a look at Venmo. Mia, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. Carmen, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. Carmen says, listen to you every day, Dean. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you so much, Carmen. Show some love to Carmen in that chat. And then one big one here. Oh my God, Hayden, thank you so much for the $75 donation over on Venmo. Holy fuck, dude. Let's get 750 big Hayden W's down below in that chat. That is Hayden. Thank you so much, man. Hayden with his $75 says, hey Dean, I've been watching your streams and playing your past lives while I work. I love what you do and I've learned so much since I've been able to start listening to you. Keep it up. Also, use this on your next anxiety pin, bro. Let's fucking go, Hayden. You are such a G. The literal goat is in the building over here. Thank you so much, bro. And my Chrome is like still crashed. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm just going to go ahead and hop back into the debate and respond to your claims. So
wait, hold on. Hold on. So give me 15 seconds real quick. So the reason why I brought this up with the Harvard study and how there's a link between mass immigration and black males being shut out the labor market and increase in mass incarceration, right? Now that he's sending a lot of people off, right? And this is what I see with my own eyes. There's a opening in construction for black men. I got cousins that just got out of prison, right? Literally a month ago, right? They're a product of the war on drugs, which really was the war on black men, right? So these people got out of jail, they paid their debt to society, and then they got construction jobs, agricultural jobs, hospitality. This is American first.
Okay. Yep, my friend, as of August, the unemployment rate for black Americans is 7.5%, marking the highest it has been, excluding the pandemic, since Donald Trump's first term in April of 2017.
Now, that was goddamn. So, see, I was talking about a specific industry, which is agricultural. Now, tell me the stats on agricultural work, construction, hospitality, and other fields where you see undocumented immigrants, brother.
I'm not so sure if like there's any specific like employment data specifically for like black Americans and like specific industries such as.
Because I know the government jobs they're losing for sure. He's not playing with nobody. He's actually waging war on black women, which I don't like. That's why I haven't I've been really triggered about
Did you
defending
know
Trump.
Did you know? Well, I mean, dude, he's not just waging war on black women. He's waging war on black men. He's waging war on all marginalized communities. At the end of the day, Donald Trump has a track history of being incredibly racist. In the 70s, he denied to rent to black Americans. In the 90s, he called all black people lazy. In the early 2000s, he perpetuated the birther myth as a Central Park Five, calling for the death penalty for 5 innocent young black and Latino men. And then in 2012 through 2016, he literally said that Obama, because he's black, is born in Africa. And then when Obama dropped his birth certificate, he said he didn't trust it, when in all reality, this was just an attempted coup to prevent a black man from getting a job because of his race, by arguing that because he was born in Africa, he's not constitutionally eligible to run for the position of the presidency, right? And I mean, this is something that we've always seen from him. So, I mean, I wouldn't be too shocked that he's racist. We've known this about him forever, right? And then, I mean, just like generally in the response to your argument that we see more like firms, right, opting to hire undocumented immigrants because they will accept lower wages due to the fact that they have less bargaining power, that could have like some negative reciprocal effects, like for instance you pointed out on black men, right? I'm not so sure like of the study that you're mentioning, but I'm willing to believe that what you're saying is probably in part true. But this goes right back in to what my original statement was, insofar as that I believe that the labor of undocumented immigrants is exploited. I believe that burden and immorality would ultimately fall on the firms that are exploiting them. And I believe the way to fix that, not just for them, but for everybody in this country, is to offer them a pathway to residency or citizenship, so then they have more bargaining power and they'll be less likely to accept lower wages, which as a reciprocal effect would end any negative outcomes associated with like an outcast of black men in the labor force, so on and so forth. Now, you also brought up, right, a war on black men, incarcerating them. Well, guess what? The GOP and Trump is still propping up a war on black Americans to do with incarceration on the war on drugs. I mean, we saw Kamala Harris in 2014 say that it's time to end the war on drugs, and then in 2018 argue that we should pass legislation through the Senate, through the Congress, to federally decriminalize the use of the M drug. She even co-signed herself on legislation to do exactly that. It never made it out of committee. And the reason being is because in 2018, those Senate committees, the Senate and the House, had a majority Republican MAGA representation under Donald Trump's leadership. So, right, one of the most pressing issues perpetuating the war on drugs and the unjust incarceration of disproportionately black men, right, is going to be continually and perpetually furthered by the man that you support as president, right? Same thing with so many other disproportionate disparities that black Americans face on a day-to-day basis. Like, for instance, abortion, right? So 55% of women that access abortion indicate that it's because of financial instability. And because the average socioeconomic standard of black women is worse off on average compared to white women because of slavery and its aftermath, we see that there's a disproportionate amount of black women that access abortion. They account for, I don't know what percentage of the population, I'd assume 7 to 8. Meanwhile, they get 34% of abortions because they're more likely to experience financial instability for the reasons I just gave and more. So when Donald Trump elected 3 justices to SCOTUS to overturn, right, federal protections for women and girls' right to choose, in turn, he's disproportionately disadvantaging and harming black women.
God damn. All right, I kind of agree with mostly everything you said outside of the abortion part.
I mean, well, that is absolutely right.
Because I'm gonna keep it real,
disadvantage
brother.
of black women in this country. See, like one of the main drivers of poverty for women in this country is motherhood, and now we're disproportionately forcing motherhood on black women while also violating their right to access healthcare. That this is absolutely an issue that we should speak about, especially if you're concerned with disparities that exist on the basis of race.
But listen, a lot of things that you're talking about is bipartisan. Right. So Democrats and Republicans was complicit in the war. Let me just get this full thought out. Democrats and Republicans was complicit on the war on drugs. So
we see a larger push from the Democrats to end it. But you're right. Like, Democrats aren't perfect.
Because if you look at the 1986 crime bill and the 1994 crime bill, right, they strategically targeted, and this was Joe Biden back, right? They strategically targeted the black communities, right? They do this nice, nasty stuff like what they're doing with immigrants, talking about Democrats, where they fake care, like they care about what's going on with these broken families and immigrants getting shipped back, but really it's about bottom line. So the bottom line to the war on drugs was free labor, privatized prisons, right? Because they started to privatize prisons in the 80s, and then all of a sudden there's a issue with black male incarceration all of a sudden. So Joe Biden, specifically, he created a 1986 crime bill which gave 100 to 1. I don't want to say the word. It sounds like schmack to propane disparities, right? So meaning if you have 100 grams of schmack, right, you get 100 grams of smopane, you get the same charge as somebody that has 1 gram of schmack. And we know disproportionately that was being sold in the black community. So Joe Biden, right, and then also the 1994 crime bill, right? People talk about, oh, well, the Black Caucus agreed with it. No, the Black Caucus didn't agree with in the 1994 crime bill where they gave 100,000 more police officers to a community that already has a distrust for the police force, and $3.1 billion to private prisons. So they didn't care about black criminality. They used black criminality as a justification to privatize prisons and lock Negroes up for money.
So you're talking about how the bad, violent, terrible crime bill, which is something.
This is a Democratic pushback.
All we could agree. Hey, Jerry, can I speak? So first and foremost, you just completely ignored everything that I said before I started to speak. When I spoke. But now, second of all, you're talking about the bad, violent, terrible crime bill, which is hopefully something that we could all agree on. Like, the crime bill was like very, very terrible, 110%, Jerry, right? And I could completely acknowledge that, as well as I could acknowledge Joe Biden's involvement in it. I mean, he was one of the goddamn sponsors, 110%. Right? But now, what does this tell me about all the reasons that I just gave you and more for how the policy that Donald Trump ran on in this election, alongside what he is doing right now, disproportionately disadvantages black Americans, compared to Kamala Harris, who wasn't a sponsor of the crime bill, agreed that it was a terrible atrocity and a mistake in the policy that she ran on, which when compared to Donald Trump's was significantly better for black Americans?
No, I agree with you on that. I think Kamala has a better position on crime than Trump when it comes to black people. Hey, quick question for you before I get up out of here.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to leave quite yet, because the point that I'm trying to prove
I can cheer here all day, buddy.
Is talking about economics. Kamala Harris was 10 times better. Talking about social policy, Kamala Harris was 10 times better. Talking about literally like every single factor.
Did you say economics?
Yeah, that was the first thing that I said.
What about
Jared.
race relations? I think race relations is better under Republicans than there are Democrats. Listen, American is all Americans, white, black, Asian, Jewish, Arab, right? We're all Americans. Democrats do this anti. Oh, shit! I got a warning. What happened? I didn't even say nothing.
I gotta kick you for that. Goodbye, Jerry. You got a warning for hate speech. So I'm just going to quickly respond to that. I would completely argue that you're definitively wrong, right? No, right? Quote unquote, race relations are not better under Republican representation. Donald Trump won an election by deploying anti-black rhetoric, by arguing that DEI is this mysterious tool that Democrats use to benefit black people and put down white people. Are you telling me that, like, using anti-black rhetoric and just creating words and tools and ideas and then superimposing them onto Democrats to argue that they're hurting white people while helping black people is, like, good, right, for, like, a standard of racism in this country? No, not at all. But let's go to move on to the next guest. Somebody in the YouTube chat says, wow, tap out DNL. No, I got to kick people when they get violations. That's not new. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Hop inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as as president. We'll happily get you loaded up into this stream. We got Joneski loading up in. Arrow, thank you so much for the $10 over on Super Chat. Thank you so much. Oh, also, wait, race relations. What about Latino people? Holy fuck. I'm so sorry. Is like bigotry and racism like at an all-time low now that we have a president who's saying that undocumented immigrants, right, like and more so targeting Latino individuals, escape prisons and mental asylums, right? And now like deploying ICE and having SCOTUS rule that they can like racially profile immigrants, not immigrants, anybody, which could possibly include immigrants, undocumented immigrants, or natural U.S. born citizens on the basis of their like ethnicity or race expression to like detain and question them for potential deportation. Like, holy fuck, dude, that was so off. What's up, Joan? Do you support Trump?
I do.
All right, how old are you, man?
I'm 19.
Cool. Let me go and thank a handful of people here. Let's see. Yo, Josephine, thank you so much for the $25 donation over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Josephine. And don't worry about it, Josephine. I just read your message. No, don't worry at all. Let's go to get 250 big Josephine W's down below in that box. Seriously, thank you so much. As well as Tony, thank you for the $7. Tony says, keep doing the good work, Dean. Thank you, Tony. And Catherine, thank you for the $13, saying it's Kat again, still working to try to get MAGA Grandma on the live. Dude, Kat, we've all been happily awaiting that conversation. I can't wait. As well as Tracy, thank you for the $10 and Venmo saying keep it up, you're inspiring. Thank you so much, Tracy. And Erica, thank you for the $10 saying today's my partner's birthday. Dude, happy birthday to your partner, Erica. Show some love to Tracy, Erica's partner. You guys are awesome. Thank you everyone so much for the love. And yeah, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, as well as in the pinned message over in that YouTube stream. But Mr. Joan, go ahead and take it away. Tell us how the hell you still support Donald Trump after all of his nonsense covering the last 8 months.
I support Donald Trump because Drake May supports Donald Trump, and Drake May is true Adam.
Okay, all right. You sound like a troll, so we're just going to go to Kiki and move on to the next guest. Let me know if you're MAGA down below in that chat. We'll pull you up. He patiently waited so long just to try to troll. Oh, lordy. Let's go to get that next guest connected right now, folks. What's up? Are you MAGA?
No, I don't even know how I got here. I was just watching.
No worries at all, man. You have a good rest of your day. Some people could accidentally join the queue sometimes. All is good. Just make sure if you are in the queue that you're an American adult that supports Trump as president. We got that next guest loading in right now. All right. I'm actually going to go ahead and start loading up multiple people at once because it looks like that last guest like left as they were loading in. We're going to get Para. We're going to get Jason.
Fuck you, nigger.
We got Para Band. We got Jason loading up in. We got, Jason left. We got Ania connecting to the stream. Let's see if Ania wants to come up here and have a conversation with us. What's up, Ania? Do you support Trump? Nope. Ania's not here. Moving on to the next guest. We got Carter, 67, loading up into the box. Here we go, you guys. Do you be patient? Just looking for the next Trump supporter. Carter, what's up? Do you support Trump?
No.
All right, then you're banned, buddy. Don't get banned. Don't be like Carter. Only join the queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump. Listen, guys, we have 11.5 thousand people watching the stream right now on TikTok, and we only have children in the queue. Are you telling me that out of the 11.5 thousand people watching, there are no American adults that support the president? Is MAGA officially dead, folks? What's up, Eleanor? Are you MAGA? No, Eleanor just left too. Guys, stop hopping in the queue if you don't want to come up here and debate me. I'm going to start just having my mods like banning people. All right, very fast. Sarah, what's up? Do you support Trump? Sarah, 5 seconds.
Yes.
That is not Sarah. Is that Sarah?
I voted for Trump.
Okay, who do we have on the live? Sarah, are you here? Okay, Sarah's not here. Christian, are you here?
Yeah, I voted for Trump.
Okay, you're a troll. Goodbye. The reason I know that you're a troll is because on my end, it showed your profile picture as this white guy in a suit. And I very specifically know what that picture is because I remember when I made like a troll fake MAGA account a while back, I went on Google and I typed in Trump supporting man to find like a good fake profile picture. And it literally gave me that same picture. What's going on, Little Nicky and Zach? Do you support Trump?
You know what? I'm actually grateful for being on here, and I appreciate your views on things. You're very intelligent, Dean.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and assume that means that you're not a Trump supporter, so we got to ban you. We're going to move on to the next guest. Cam, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate that, Cam. As well as, let's see here, Paul, thank you for the $10 on PayPal. Saying, do you have a place set up where fans can send you stuff yet? I'd like to send you a shirt. Thanks. No, I don't have a PO box opened up. Maybe I should open one. That'd be pretty fun. All right, guys, seriously, we have 12,000 people in this stream. We can't find one Trump supporter. What is going on, dude? This world is changing, maybe for the better, right? Because Trump just has no supporters left, dude. Like at this point, like it's embarrassing, right? Like Trump supporters, like this is embarrassing for you. Hop in that queue, right? Don't let this be as embarrassing as it is, right? Like, please, dude, I'm literally like begging like a single American adult that supports the president to just have a conversation with me. Whoever thought that it would be that hard? Maybe this speaks to just how bad of a president Donald Trump is and just how many individuals are truly starting to turn on him. What's going on, V? Are you MAGA?
Yeah, I am.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
What year were you born in?
2006.
And what time is it?
What time is it right now?
Yes.
5:45.
And what state are you in?
New York.
And what's the capital of New York?
Seriously, dog?
Yes. Well, I guess he couldn't answer that one. Christopher, what about you? Do you support Trump?
I don't, and I put my request application.
No worries, man. I'm going to have to kick you, though. Just looking for Trump supporters. Moving on to the next guest, guys. Go ahead and let me know down below in that chat if you support Trump, y'all. All right, we got Richard connected. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
How old are you?
29.
Have you been up here before?
No.
Okay, and what year were you born in?
1996.
Okay, and Richard, let me ask you a question. So you support Trump. How do you feel about him labeling people that are anti-fascists as terrorists?
I'm sure some of them are.
No, you said like everybody that is anti-fascist is a terrorist.
Well, if you're part of the organization that wears the mask, yeah.
So Antifa is not an organization. It's just a political movement. It's just like saying that you're against fascism.
Well,
FDT,
some people
appreciate
don't
you for that. Thank you for that level ship. What's that?
Some people don't think that.
Some people don't think that? Well, okay.
Yeah, some people identify as Antifa differently.
Okay, can you give me...
I don't know, you ask them. Yeah, well, I mean, you're a pretty well-adjusted person, but there's a group of people who have similar beliefs. They wear a mask, they mess things up, they protest.
People that mess things up that wear masks? Violence. Are you talking about ICE?
No, I'm portraying a very recognizable group of people. It's not ICE.
Okay, so they're called Antifa. Is that what you're saying? See, so like Donald Trump has been doing the same thing.
Well, I don't think he's referring to you.
Wait, but, yeah, well, I don't think he's referring to you. But I'm Antifa.
I don't think you are.
No, I am Antifa. I'm anti-fascist.
All right. Well, have you firebombed the building?
Wait, I have a question. You don't need to firebomb a building to think that fascism is bad.
Well, he's referring to people who are like that.
Okay, no, he said Antifa. He's not referring to people that are like that. Why are you playing mental gymnastics for him?
Well, if I call myself a refugee, is he going to deport me? No, because I'm not a refugee, right?
Okay, so then what? Okay, I want you to define Antifa.
Yeah, Antifa are okay. So there's two definitions of Antifa, right? There are the people who are like you, who say, "Oh yeah, I'm against fascism." Okay, that's cool. But then there's another group of people who feel like they have to be violent, they have to protest, they have to fight. And they take it out on
you're not defining Antifa. I'm just asking you to define Antifa.
There's two definitions for Antifa.
Okay, give me like a clear definition of Antifa.
Well, it's pretty vague. So do you want Trump's definition or do you want my like
Donald Trump doesn't think it's vague because he defined this certain word as a definite domestic terrorist group.
It's vague because you're calling yourself Antifa when you don't fit the profile of Trump's definition of Antifa. That's why it's vague.
How do you know what Donald Trump's definition of Antifa is?
Well, he's referring specifically to the people who protested during 2020, who destroyed a lot of businesses.
So how do you know what his definition of Antifa is?
Well, is he arresting you?
So he's not arresting me?
Are you worried? Or are you worried at all that he's going to arrest you?
I mean, I could definitely see a little bit of pushback.
I don't think you are.
Potentially.
I think you know implicitly
this isn't answering my question. How do you know what Trump's definition of Antifa is?
Because he describes Antifa. as violent. Are you violent?
Well, I mean, he describes like Democrats as hateful. Does this mean that like his definition of Democrat includes hate?
Yeah.
Oh, do you agree with
But that doesn't mean all Democrats are hateful.
Wait, so does
It
that mean
means
that
some Democrats
do you
are.
think that I'm hateful?
No, you're actually a nice guy.
Okay, so then you'd argue that according to Donald Trump's definition of what a Democrat is, I'm not a Democrat?
You're not a hateful Democrat.
Oh, but no, because remember, you just told me that I'm not Antifa because Donald Trump defines Antifa as like quote unquote violent, and meaning that in accordance with his definition, I'm not Antifa. Okay, well, he also defines like Democrats as hateful. You just agreed to that, meaning according to Trump, I'm not a Democrat. But isn't that like absurd to say? Oh,
No,
obviously
according
I'm a
to Trump,
Democrat
you're not a hateful Democrat.
because I vote for blue, right? Meaning I'm obviously also like Antifa because I'm against fascism.
Well, you're not the Antifa that he's referring to, and you know that.
Well, how do you know who he is referring to? Like,
Dean,
what is the
Dean, do you
organization?
go- do you
Because
go to bed every night?
he refers He refers to an actual organization. I have a question. Where's this organization's like headquarters at?
Well, there's like the Antifa of like Portland. There's like the Antifa of Denver. Like there's chapters of Antifa.
Oh, okay. So
They
you're
call
saying like
themselves-
there's like very clear organizations, like actual organizations that he's labeling as domestic.
They have Twitter accounts.
Can you like point me towards like one of these actual organizations that he's labeling as terrorists?
Yeah, the Antifa of Portland. That's one.
And Antifa of Portland. Okay. What do I need to look up to find them?
Twitter.
Okay. What do I look up on Twitter?
Antifa of Portland.
Just on x.com?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that right now. Also, Richard, you definitely have been up here before, right? You could just admit it.
I have not.
No, you have. I definitely remember you.
I've talked to Parker. Are you Parker?
No, I'm Dean. I'm saying that I've talked to you.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Parker.
So I just looked up Antifa Portland on Twitter. Like, I'm not
Rose
really
City
finding
Antifa.
anything.
Sorry, Rose City Antifa. RCA.
So how do I spell that?
RCA.
So I
Rose
just type in
City
RCA?
Yeah, Rose City Antifa.
Okay, so I'm typing it. So how do I spell Rose City? What are you saying? R-O-E,
Rose,
R-O-W?
Rose as in like the flower.
Okay, Rose City.
Yeah.
Antifa. Okay. Okay, well, so this is an account with 41,000 followers, right? And these are domestic terrorists?
Well, there's a lot of these. You can find them anywhere.
But like if you're in Rose City Antifa, you're a domestic terrorist.
Possibly.
No, not
I don't want to
possibly.
call everybody
No,
a
I asked you for like a definite like terrorist organization that he's talking about.
Well, you asked
and you
for
said
an
that there were like legitimate Antifa organizations that he's labeling as terrorists. So then I asked you for an example, and you gave me Rose City Antifa. See, like I'm looking at Rose City Antifa right now, and like the first thing that I see is call to action happening now. Go to PSU, bring a tent and a friend. We're gonna advocate for Palestine. So I didn't know that like protesting in support of Palestine made you a literal domestic terrorist.
Well, the argument was, are there an organization called Antifa? And I just named one with 40,000 people.
No, so that was actually not what the argument was. The question was, can you point me towards one of these Antifa organizations that he's labeling and defining as a domestic terrorist organization?
Well, there's a lot of them, and a lot of them are violent. So
Okay, so point me
those
towards
are the
like one
Antifa that we're
specific
talking about.
organization. Point me towards one specific organization that he's labeling as terrorists. Do it.
Well, the important thing is that you are not a part of that organization.
Well,
right?
it just sounds like you're just trying to find a way to
you're not
ignore
a
my
part of the
question.
problem.
So this really kind
Are
of
you
sounds
a part
like
of any
deflection.
Antifa organizations?
Well, I mean, it kind of sounds like you're not willing to answer my question because you know that you can't name one.
No, the problem is that the topic is not what you're talking about. The topic is, are you a part of the Antifa that Donald Trump refers to? And you are not, because you are not part of any organizations.
Okay, so you are trying to completely change the question. So I'll tell you the
I'm
way that we
not.
got
No,
here.
the topic was
Richard, you absolutely are deflecting. That's a fact, sir. Right? So I brought up how like Donald Trump is labeling people that like are against fascism as terrorists. Then you were like, no, like he's like clearly operating under his own definition of like violent people. Then I was like, well, I mean, he's like referring to like an organization. Can you point me towards one of these very specific Antifa organizations that he's very clearly labeling as domestic terrorists, right? And like that's a question that I've continued to ask you here, and you don't have an answer. So now you're just trying to avoid, ignore, and deflect. So without an
I don't
avoidance,
think he
without you
labeled
ignoring
a
me,
specific
and without you
organization.
like deflecting, can you please give me like a specific organization that he's labeling as domestic terrorists?
Well, he hasn't revealed that list yet.
Wait, so you don't know who he's actually calling terrorists?
Well, he's calling the organizations the terrorist
Okay,
organizations.
which organizations?
Well, would you agree that?
No. One
like,
second. Which
Al-Qaeda is a
organizations?
terrorist organization. Can you name all the cells? Like, what kind of argument is that?
So I'm asking you just
Are they not a terrorist group if you can't name all the cells?
But you'd be able to specifically point towards like an Al-Qaeda terrorist group. You'd be able to specifically point towards like specific individuals that are a part of Al-Qaeda. You'd be able to specifically point towards historical leaders of Al-Qaeda. So I'm just asking you to do the same thing for this Antifa organization. Can you point me towards like very specific leaders of this Antifa organization? Can you point me towards like even just one specific sect or organization, right, of this Antifa terrorist organization? And you could do all of those things.
And you just searched it
for
yourself.
Antifa. Okay, so you are defending that Rose City Antifa is an active domestic terrorist group.
It's possible.
Okay, I'm reading off of their website.
We gotta put them on trial first, right?
I'm reading off of their website right now. "Quote unquote, education gives our communities the information that they need to recognize and oppose fascism. Fascists often hide their ideas and try to co-opt other movements like environmentalism, anti-capitalism, anti-globalism. Sometimes they may even claim to be feminists. It's important that our community is able to see and understand what fascism is, what gives it power, and how to stop it." We'll actually also just go to their FAQ. Okay, so their FAQ starts off, "What is fascism?" And their response is, "Well, fascism is a belief system that can be described by a set of traits. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't have to have everything on the list. And in fact, most versions in the world won't have everything on the list. We'd say that most versions would be ultranationalist, authoritarian, and xenophobic. We can also say that for sure the danger of fascist organizations poses is real and immediate because violence is essential to achieve their goals." Okay, like what in that like warrants labeling them as domestic terrorists?
I think if I was a terrorist, I wouldn't tell people that. Like, that's bad for getting caught.
Oh, okay. So you think that they're just concealing the fact that they're terrorists. So then how do you know that they're terrorists?
Well, yeah. Criminals aren't going to admit that they're criminals, right?
So then how do you know?
You're going to get arrested.
Terrorists?
Well, we don't know. That's why I was being fair.
Oh,
the argument was,
so
are there an
you're saying that you don't
organization?
know. So the argument is that you actually don't know, like, specifically, like, who Donald Trump is defining as a domestic terrorist. Because, like,
No,
you
I
told
do
me.
know.
Oh, then
I do
who?
know.
Then who? Who? Give me a name.
Organizations
what organizations?
were calling themselves Antifa.
What? Okay, like Rose City Antifa?
Which you are not a part of any of them, so you're
Richard,
okay, Dean.
You just said that you do know who Donald Trump is labeling as terrorists. I asked you,
Yes.
okay, who is he labeling as terrorists? And then you responded
Organized
by saying
Antifa.
organizations that are calling themselves Antifa. Okay, Rose City Antifa. Are they an organization that are calling themselves Antifa?
Well, they're probably being investigated right now.
Answer my question. Are they an organization that labels themselves as Antifa?
Yes.
Okay, so then following from your logic, you know that they're terrorists.
Well, they're probably being investigated as possible terrorists.
Well, according to your logic, you already know that they are without investigation.
Well, I know that, according to my logic, Trump...
Yes, because I asked you, right, if you know who Donald Trump is defining as terrorists, and then you said, I do know, he's defining organizations that label themselves as Antifa, meaning that your logic would implicate Rose City Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, as they are an organization that labels himself as Antifa. Why are you absolutely so lost in the weeds of this, like, incredibly simple syllogism that you just simply can't track?
I'm tracking it pretty well.
Okay, so then admit that your logic would entail that Rose City
My logic entails that they are possibly being investigated because they are an organization. That's my logic.
So what did you say?
It's a pretty fair logic.
Did you say that you know who Donald Trump is referring to, or did you say that you possibly know?
I know who Donald Trump is referring to as Antifa.
To who it may be referring to.
I know who Donald Trump is referring to as Antifa, and it's not you.
Okay, so if you know who Donald Trump is referring to as these Antifa organizations, once again I'll ask you, who do you know he's referring to?
Well, I just get... All right, we're going in circles, man. I'm just going to tell you it's Rose City Antifa, okay?
Okay, so then you know that he's referring to Rose City Antifa. Did he call these Antifa organizations domestic terrorists point blank, period?
He called all Antifa, which refers to organizations.
Okay, so then he did call Rose City Antifa domestic terrorists. Do you agree with
Well,
it?
if there's a lot of cells, I don't think he's naming all of them, right?
Okay,
He's just gonna name like one group.
Okay, well then you don't know who he's calling terrorists because you just said that you know he's calling organizations like Rose City Antifa, right? These Antifa organizations. We just simply track your logic for like 3 seconds. That implies that according to Trump, they're a domestic terrorist organization. But then you want to walk back on that because you know how insane that is. So then it goes back to the grand elusiveness where you can't clearly tell me who Donald Trump is and isn't labeling as domestic terrorists. What are you doing, Richard?
He didn't
so you have told me, one second, my friend. You have told me that you know who Donald Trump is referring to as a domestic terrorist. All right. If you're still going to die on that hill that you know who Donald Trump is referring to as a domestic terrorist, I need you to tell me who he's referring to since you know it. I feel like that's a fair ask. If you know who he's referring to, tell me who he's referring to.
So my answer is like many times. Like, do you just want me to keep naming names of like groups that are known? Like,
okay,
like,
so
what evidence do you want me to say?
So then you do agree that you know he is referring to Rose City Antifa.
Rose City Antifa is included in a list that he is describing as Antifa, yes.
So therefore, you would agree that Donald Trump is calling Rose City Antifa domestic terrorists.
Okay, this is all cats are dogs, and therefore this is not a dog, so it's a cat. Like this is bad logic, Dean. Like you're committing a very big logical fallacy that I am not
committing any logical fallacy whatsoever. This is third grader shit. You just told me that Rose City Antifa is one of the Antifa organizations that he's referring to, right?
Well, see, Dean, the problem is that you're setting up this conditional, right?
I just want a yes or no. Right? We're just gonna like observe and reflect on everything that you just said. You told me that you know that Rose City Antifa is on the list of the Antifa organizations he's referring to, right, Richard? If you don't answer this question, I'm gonna kick you.
So you're just gonna commit logical fallacy, like?
Well, I'm actually not committing any logical fallacy at all. I'm like proactively trying to demonstrate how I'm actually not committing a logical fallacy, and in fact, the logic that I'm using is that in which third graders are equipped with. Right? It's super simple
here's
logic.
What you're saying.
And I'm like proactively trying to demonstrate that logic to you, but you're not even allowing me to proactively demonstrate that logic to you by avoiding my question. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you the question one last time. Richard, I understand that your little brain is breaking because you got fucking caught, but stop being so dense and hard-headed and just answer the question. You told me that you know that Rose City Antifa is one of the Antifa organizations on Donald Trump's list that he's referring to, right?
Yeah, high likelihood.
Okay, perfect. So if you know that he's referring to Rose City Antifa, therefore he thinks that Rose City Antifa are domestic terrorists, right? Because he thinks that these Antifa organizations are domestic terrorists.
Yeah, highly possible.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. How do you feel about the fact that our president is actively referring to these random organizations where we have no reason to believe that they're domestic terrorists whatsoever, literally just saying that they're against fucking fascism as literal terrorists?
Well, are they being arrested right now?
I don't know. Go ask the DOJ.
Yeah, well, if they're being arrested,
you just told me that Donald Trump is referring to them as terrorists.
Conversation, right?
So now you're saying that Donald Trump's referring to them as terrorists, but he's not doing anything to them. So then would you agree that from Donald Trump's perspective, he's just letting domestic terrorists roam the streets of America, even though he knows exactly who they are?
I think they're trying to figure out if they're terrorists or not, and they might not be.
But now you're just walking back because I thought that you told me you knew that Donald Trump thinks they're terrorists.
He thinks they're possibly terrorists.
No, not possibly terrorists, that they are. He's never said that these Antifa organizations are possibly domestic terrorists. He's held strong with his convictions that they are terrorists. Not possibly, but that they are.
If he thinks that, and he's also an authoritarian, then they'd be arrested right now, which they are not, so.
Okay, so you're telling me that he doesn't think that. So then why is he lying?
He's not lying.
But he put out the tweet on the official White House account on his Truth Social. He had fucking Pam Bondi record a 3-minute propaganda video saying that these Antifa organizations are domestic terrorists. And now your response is to say, well, if he actually thought they were domestic terrorists, they would already be in cuffs, meaning that implies he doesn't think that they're domestic terrorists, right? And if he doesn't think that they're domestic terrorists, right? Well, then why did he say that they were? And
Well,
then
if
you're going to
he's a
argue that he
authoritarian
didn't say that. No,
dictator,
no, no, no,
he'd
no.
be
Answer my question.
arresting everyone, right?
If he doesn't think that they're domestic terrorists, then why did he say they were?
Well, he wants to investigate them.
You're not answering my question. My question is,
So-
and I quote,
so would
if
you
he
say
doesn't
that
think that they're
Trump-
domestic
Trump can
terrorists
only be
or
right?
thinks that he should probably investigate them, then why did he say that they were domestic terrorists? Can you answer that question? Because he said that they were definitively domestic terrorists, and he continues to do so every day. So if he doesn't think that they're actually domestic terrorists, then why does he continue to call them domestic terrorists?
Well, I think this is just an example of Trump applying due process, so it's a Trump W.
Okay, you're not answering my question.
I am answering your question.
How does that
You can
answer
think
my
somebody's a
question?
terrorist and not immediately arrest them.
Oh, okay. So you'd argue that he actually does think that they're terrorists.
Like, yes. Okay. Yes.
Can we agree
All right,
with his
so what's
messaging?
your gotcha now? Yes.
Can you agree that with his messaging, he's been trying to convince as many people as possible to agree with him?
Okay. Yes.
So you
I'm just
agree-
going to move the conversation forward
so now
because
that-
you
so now
are
that
you are
so
trying to
Richard,
get me on something.
Richard, so now that you agree that Donald Trump thinks that they are terrorists, and now that you've agreed that Donald Trump has been trying to convince everybody that they're terrorists, to agree with him and his convictions, right? This entails that Donald Trump is trying to convince 320 million Americans that these American citizens that haven't had due process, that haven't been investigated, that honestly don't signify anything of terrorism are terrorists. Do you think that this is like incredibly vindictive and harmful, as he is now specifically rhetorically targeting so many Americans for just merely disagreeing with him politically by not only labeling them as domestic terrorists, but trying to convince you, me, and everybody else that they're domestic terrorists as well?
Well, see, this logic falls apart when the answer to the premise is no.
Okay, so then you don't think that that's bad.
No, I don't think that how you described his motivation is right. I think you are wrong in your characterization of his beliefs.
Okay, so I'm wrong in my characterization of his belief, believing that they're domestic terrorists. So then
That everyone is automatically a terrorist
Okay.
because otherwise they'd be arrested.
Okay, so if I'm wrong, right, well then why did Donald Trump say it?
Well, if you're right, then why is no one arrested?
Okay, so you're saying now if I'm right, why is nobody arrested? Because they're not actually fucking terrorists. You have to have probable cause
then
to
why- well,
arrest
then, so
somebody
he said
for an
something,
articulatable crime that they've not fulfilled. The answer to why they're not actually arrested is because they're not actually terrorists.
Okay.
Huh. Duh.
Okay.
They haven't actually done anything to break the law.
Yeah? I mean, most of them are not terrorists. I said that. I said most of them aren't terrorists.
So now are you arguing that he's labeling, like, for instance, Rose City Antifa as a terrorist organization, even though Rose City Antifa has not actually done anything to break the law?
Well, I'm saying that they probably got investigated and then they got cleared. That's why they're not arrested.
Okay, but you told me earlier that you knew he was referring to them as terrorists. So why, under
Well,
your
you're
view,
saying that
is he
because of
referring
his
to a
rhetoric,
cleared
then-
group of Antifa of anti-fascist Americans as domestic terrorists?
So by your logic, if he has a rhetoric, he's going to commit, authoritarian action. And now you're saying
not
that he's
answering my
not committing
question.
authoritarian action, so he's not authoritarian.
So you're actually not answering my question here.
I am actually.
No, so the question was, under your view, you think that, for instance, Rose City Antifa have been cleared of any wrongdoing, right? And the DOJ doesn't suspect them of a crime. Well, earlier you told me that he knows that they're terrorists, right? So why would he think and accuse somebody of being a terrorist and try to convince all Americans that they're a terrorist when he knows that they're not actually terrorists because they've been cleared by his DOJ?
So he said something and he was wrong.
Well, he continues to say it every single day. So why does he continue to say it if he knows that he's wrong?
He said something that, no, because you're trying to fearmonger people, right? You started this by saying that he wants to arrest every single person who's anti-fascist.
And Trump.
And now
Literally,
we're
the
saying that
only
they're not
individual-
terrorists,
the
and
only-
he's not arresting
The
them.
only individual here that's trying to fearmonger is Trump, because now to the point where you think that. So answer that question. If he knows they're not terrorists, then why does he continue to call them terrorists?
Is he continuing to do it?
Yes,
Or did
every
he just
single
say it
day.
once?
Oh,
Does
no,
every
oh my
single
God.
day?
Yeah, you haven't been up to date. Go look at the White House account. They put out a 4-minute propaganda video yesterday honing in on the Antifa organizations, calling them domestic terrorists. It's like their whole brand new thing. So if he knows they're not terrorists, then why does he continue to call them terrorists?
Is he continuing to do it?
Yes,
Or did he
every
just
single
say it
day.
once?
Oh,
Does
no,
every
oh my
single
God.
day?
Yeah, you haven't been up to date. Go look at the White House account. They put out a 4-minute propaganda video yesterday honing in on the Antifa organizations, calling them domestic terrorists. It's like their whole brand new thing. So if he knows they're not actually terrorists, then why is he calling them terrorists?
Well, we'll find out, right?
Oh, we'll find out. We'll find out why Donald
it sounds
Trump...
like they're being investigated right now,
Wait,
so
but you
we'll
told
find
me
out.
that they actually already were investigated. They were cleared.
Well, you're saying that if Trump thinks somebody...
We'll find out why he's calling people terrorists when he knows they're not actually terrorists. I can fucking...
Wait, no, your logic...
We're gonna get that next Trump supporter up in here. Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, what a great way to end that dialogue. Holy fuck, quote unquote. We'll find out, dude. The U.S. is so cooked. The U.S. is so fucking cooked, dude. That guy was actively arguing in support of Donald Trump on this bit and telling us that he believes Donald Trump knows these people are not terrorists and agreeing that he's continuing to call them terrorists. I'm like, hey man, why is he calling non-terrorists terrorists and trying to convince you and me that they are when he knows they aren't? And obviously the response there is to fearmonger. Obviously the response there is to identify a false enemy as a unifying cause for his base. Obviously, the response there is to attempt to proactively justify the deployment of the military in cities across this country because they have to have quote unquote good reason in accordance with the 10th Amendment to prevent a federal judge from restricting their deployments. Right? But no, none of those things were obvious to him. From his perspective, we don't know why he's labeling non-terrorists as terrorists, and apparently we'll find out. Get the hell out of here. We're going to go to move on to that next guest. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump. And Zach, thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Zach, that is incredibly kind of you. Let's get 500 big Zach W's. That is Z-A-K. Zach with a $50 super chat says, from one proud Antifa to another. Yeah, man, I'm proud of Antifa, man. I don't know what to tell you. Let's go and get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the live, guys. Hop in that queue if you're an American adult, and please show some love to Zach for the 50 big ones. From one proud Antifa to another. As well as Emma, thank you for the $10. Emma says, talking to MAGA supporters is like talking to a bunch of bratty 6-year-olds. On occasion, definitely on that last debate, 110%. What's up, Jenna? Do you support Trump?
I definitely do. What's up?
All right, Jenna, you really shouldn't do that. Why so?
Well, I guess I came up here to talk about something definitely Trump related. It's related like to everything. But can I ask the question quick?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm just going to thank a couple people here real quick. Lars, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Lars with the $10 on Venmo says, all the guests today have been spewing nonsense. It's hard to understand what their points are. Hard to track like any of these arguments. Thank you for the $10, Lars. As well as Cam, thank you for the $5. I think I actually already thanked you. And then Darius, thank you so much for the $5 over on PayPal. Thank you so much. If you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio over on TikTok. And it's also in the pin message over on the YouTube stream. I think that there's actually two new donations that we just got that I want to thank. Valerie, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Literally like 10 seconds ago. Valerie with a $50 says keep going. Valerie, that is literally so kind of you. Thank you so much for your kindness. All the love in the world to you, Valerie. Let's get 500 big Valerie W's, as well as thank you so much for the $50 on PayPal from Peyton. Holy shit. Mega W's for Peyton and Valerie. Peyton with a $50 says thank you for all that you do. I can never do what you do, is I have zero patience. You know, let me tell you this, Peyton. The patience has actually been developed over time. It's not a trait that I have naturally. It's a trait that I've had to learn to just have these conversations. But seriously, all the love to Valerie, all the love to Peyton. I appreciate you both for the $50. That is a shit ton of money. Thank you guys so much for your kindness. Go ahead, man.
So, okay, you're talking about how it's kind of a gift that you are able to have these conversations. So don't you think that it's important that we talk like amongst each other with friendship and love and kindness? I think that that is something that you've been lacking, and that is really bugging me because you are such an incredibly intelligent man. And like with everything going on, like why aren't you promoting that more?
Listen, so I take the high road, but only to a certain extent. I try to compose myself better. I try to be more patient. I try to be kinder than my guests. But only to an extent. At the end of the day, right, I'm a petty motherfucker, and I am going to give back some of the same energy I receive. But I will say, I still do proactively continue to try to not do that and to take the high road. And I'll continue to do that moving forward too, you know? Like maybe shit, in 20 years I'm going to be serving in a public office somewhere, just maybe, it's a potentiality. I'm not going to want clips rerunning on Fox News of me calling some Trump supporter in 2023 a raging fucking idiot, stupid motherfucker with zero brain cells. So, you know, I try to take the high road, but I'm petty, I'm realistic, and I hold a lot of disdain in my heart for a lot of the things that Trump supporters believe in. But I try to take that high road. How about this? I'm going to try to take that high road with you, Jenna. Tell us why you support Trump, and I'll try to treat you with patience and kindness.
I guess I would like to go off of a little bit of what you said before we go onto that, if that's okay.
No, for sure.
Okay, so you're reading. Are you reading your comments right now?
So I look in.
I would really like you. You are a smart man, right?
Yeah.
I would like you to take a look at your comments right now.
Yeah. Do you not support that because they're spamming baby bottle emojis?
No, not necessarily baby bottle emojis.
Well, do you think it'd be worse?
But more so like the women comments, and I don't know. I just think that.
Do you think it'd be worse?
Like you need to have a lot more intelligent people in here. Excuse me. What do you ask me? Do I work?
So you just labeled like every single person watching this live as unintelligent. That is like the most hateful thing that anybody has said on my live ever.
I'm not trying to be like hateful at all whatsoever, but the comments that have been coming through are incredibly, I don't know, stupid. Like, come on, dude, get a better audience.
Well, I think it's funny because now you're calling my audience unintelligent and stupid when like 5 seconds ago.
No, I just think that like we all just need to. It's so sad, like how stupid people are.
Oh
like
God. Dude, I'm telling you, like every guest I've had so far in my stream today has been more respectful than you're being right now, and like you're the one to make an issue out of my apparent disrespect. Is this a projection?
Well, maybe so, I guess.
Like think about it. Like the last guest that came up, he wasn't calling everyone in the live stupid.
Well, I don't like necessarily need to like even say the words for it to be apparent. I just don't know why you are like you're allowing these people to like support you. Like, why do you want this type of support?
You know what? It's
sad.
You're so real. You're so real. For everybody,
it is real, though.
Listen.
Like,
Let me cook.
No, I want you to listen to me for a second.
Let me cook real quick.
Like, why can't you have people? No. I want you to like actually like listen to this. Like, why aren't you like trying to get better, more intelligent young people to be here?
Okay.
Because it's sad. It is sad.
You're telling me that I should like stop allowing people that are, for instance.
No, I'm not telling you to do anything.
Hey, Jenna, does respect come with allowing me to speak?
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Dima. I'm trying to like level you up, okay?
Okay.
I think that there's a lot more
Can I talk without you interrupting?
Yep, go ahead. Sorry, bud.
Bud, disrespectful. Nuh-uh, Jenna. Alexis, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Alexis says, just passed the bar exam yesterday. Sorry, I'm not smart enough. No, dude, you just passed the bar exam, right? A toddler could obviously do that. I'm just kidding, Alexis. She's wrong. As well as Allison, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo as well. Allison with the $10 says, from the dummies, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much, Allison. I'd also like to thank Sydney for the $5 on PayPal, who says, for being so unintelligent and stupid. Appreciate you for the love. Kelvin, thank you for the $5 as well. Appreciate you. Alexandra with the $5. You're awesome. And let's see here. Kimberly, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo, who says, if Jenna calls me stupid one more time, I swear to God, don't worry, I'm about to start cooking here shortly. As well,
you know what? I'll
Mia,
send Dean a good
so
$5,000 and then he can share it amongst all of you, okay?
You're going to send me $5,000? Do it. I'll redistribute that wealth.
Okay.
My Venmo and PayPal are.
Let's finish this convo first.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let me thank 2 more people, then I'll respond to you. Nia, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. I actually really want to read Nia's message out loud. That is NIA. Show some love to Nia for the $20. She's actually going to cook for me instead. Nia says, Trump supporters demanding decorum while defending a 34-count convicted felon, sex offenders, rapists, white nationalism, fascists, homophobia, transphobia, and other flavors of hate and bigotry. So insane to me. Like, look in a mirror Damn, girl. Cook, as well as Morgan, thank you so much for the $10, who says, Dean, I get him good. I'm stupid because I support you. Morgan, thank you for the $10. Okay, listen, I'm actually going to go ahead and respond to what you're saying right now. And this is kind of like rolling off of what Nia just told to us. So you told me I should stop allowing people to support me because they're spamming baby bottles in the chat in response to you calling them stupid. And you think that is so
Dean, I'm not
disrespectful.
saying that anybody should stop.
I'm actually going to mute you now. And you think that is so disrespectful, I should draw a red line. So let me ask you this question. Why don't you draw a red line in between you and the fool who raped a woman and then was held civilly liable for it? Why don't you draw a red line between yourself and the authoritarian who's violated our Constitution 8 times in the last 8 months just to justify his human rights atrocities, like illegally deporting Abrigo Garcia to be literally beaten and tortured in El Salvador for 3 months? Why don't you draw a red line between yourself and the creep who went on Howard Stern's podcast and openly boasted about sexually exploiting naked girls and naked women? But, of course, you want to ignore that. You want to act like those things aren't true. You know, like the whole toddler thing. If you cover your eyes, you're invisible. If you don't think about it, it never happened. But then, of course, when you come up on a Dean Withers live stream, if somebody in the chat personally offends you by dropping a baby bottle, all of a sudden it's World War III, and it's my moral duty and obligation to hold myself to the high road and draw a red line. Go ahead and respond, Jenna. Honestly, I thought that she was muted because she wasn't speaking. So then I clicked to like unmute her and she wasn't muted.
Can you unmute me?
Yeah, go ahead and respond.
Okay. Oh, Lord. This is a lot to unpack.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain. That's very disrespectful.
Sorry, I'm reading my AI. Do you have that feature too?
You're accusing me of using AI? That's very disrespectful.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but...
Oh, well, yeah, you're wrong. Whine about it.
Oh, come on. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
I'll prove you wrong.
Okay.
Respond to what I said so we could finish that conversation up, wrap it up, put a little bow.
I'm not even going to respond because, I can literally see your freaking eyes moving across the screen.
Check this out.
It's just sad.
Check this out.
It's not even, I don't even know.
No,
it's not worth anybody's time.
Check this
come
out,
on,
Jenna.
let's do, real things
Jenna,
here, chat.
Is this a regular blanket? Is there anything weird with this blanket whatsoever?
Other than your cum stains?
Jenna, that's actually more than disrespectful. That's really weird. Odd. How old are you? Yeah, I'm half your age, Jenna. That's weird. Is it a normal blanket though?
Oh, he's not wrong.
Is it a normal blanket?
I don't know. I can't tell.
It is, right? Well, I mean, do you think that there's... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this blanket over my head, and then I'm going to put the hands in the air, and then I'm going to ask you for one reason why you support Trump, and then I'm going to debunk the shit out of you with the blanket on my head, definitively proving that I'm not using AI. So, go ahead. I'm just going to put the blanket on my head now. Right?
He puts it over the camera.
So, the blanket of wisdom is on. Go ahead and take it away, Jenna. Give me one reason why you support Trump.
Sorry, this is just so funny.
Oh, I think that the only thing funny here is the absolute embarrassment that you're about to feel when I categorically
I don't feel
destroy
embarrassment,
you.
honey. I don't know. I'm getting quite good.
Can we get one reason why you support Trump so the blanket of wisdom can respond, Jenna?
I support Trump because I can't answer anymore. I'm gonna get fired from my job, dude.
Oh God! So you actually don't have any reasons why you support Trump? Well, how about the blanket of wisdom?
No, I do support
So the blanket of wisdom is actually going to go ahead and give you a handful of reasons why you shouldn't. I typically break it down into the three categories.
Fine. I'll answer the question.
Okay, go ahead, Jenna.
Oh, just to save everybody from...
No, let's hear an answer. Come on, Jenna. Stop being so scared. Why do you support Trump? Come on, bro. You only get the blanket of wisdom once. I'm going to prove I don't use AI. Why do you support Trump? Well, I don't hear anyone. Did that mean that did Jenna leave? Jenna did leave. Oh my God. Oh my God. What is fucking scaredy cat? Holy shit. Yeah, man, dude. I mean, oh my God. Imagine like how scary that would be to like start a conversation with somebody that you think is just like so absurdly knowledgeable on like American politics and so successful in debunking the continued arguments for why Donald Trump is a good president, that you not only accuse them of using AI, but you state that they definitely do and there's no way that they can convince you otherwise. And then they put a goddamn blanket over their face and they're like, dude, give me a reason why you support Trump. I'll debate you goddamn blindfolded by the blanket of wisdom. And like, oh my God, dude. Like, I mean, it doesn't get any more real than that. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh God, Jesus Christ. She said that she didn't feel embarrassment. Good for her, right? It's actually a positive for her in the moment. What's up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, right. Let me go and thank a couple people here. Alexandria, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal saying I'm dying. Blanket of wisdom. No, dude, it's a blanket of wisdom. If you've ever noticed, I always have this blanket on my lap, right? It must be doing something for me, right? It's giving me all of the existential knowledge on every subject ever. As well as Heidi, thank you for the $10 on PayPal. It says, Dean, I finally got released from the hospital. Holy shit, Heidi, good for you. You've been in the hospital for so long. I remember you sending me a donation about that like literally weeks ago. I'm so happy that you're finally out. Guys, seriously, please show some love to Heidi. Like, she's been in the hospital for like weeks, maybe even a month, and she's finally out. Good for fucking you, Heidi. Show some love to Heidi. I'd also like to thank here Tava. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. I just read your message and I'm really happy that this stream helps as a distraction. That's awesome. As well as, give me a moment here. John, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal from a 71-year-old unintelligent man. Thank you, John. Octavio, thank you so much for the $5 and I'm so dumb I'm sending you money. Brianna, thank you for the $5 on Venmo saying that she's scared of the blanket of wisdom, but I'm the one who's stupid. I appreciate you for that love, Brenna. As well as Serenity, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, who says, please always be mean to the people that deserve it. I mean, I have a tendency to, regardless if I want that tendency or not. Thank you for the $20 Serenity. I'd also like to thank Ashton for the $10 on Venmo, Jenna with a 5, Chronic with a 10, and Kendra, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. Kendra says, I mean, damn, I can't believe how I figured this out because of how stupid I am. Thank you for the $20, Kendra. Please show some love to all of our donors down below in that chat. Long Island Vet, why do you support Trump?
Because what he's doing with Israel, he's actually making actually a peace deal, and it looks like it may stick. For how long, I don't know.
Oh, so you want like peace in Israel and Palestine?
Don't you?
Oh, I mean, I obviously do, 110%. So because you want peace in Israel and Palestine, how absolutely disgusted were you when Donald Trump held a joint press conference with Netanyahu and announced his plan to ethnically cleanse it 4 months ago?
Oh, I'm just curious. In November 2024, Israel struck Gaza, but then Biden approved $680 million in arms sales to Gaza. Where was your outcry then? Where was your outcry in January 2025? This is the part where you do actually do chat GPT, buddy. Where was your outcry during January 2025 when more Gaza attacks followed and Biden gave $8 billion in weapons deals there? No. So how come weren't you crying about that? I
feel bad for this guy. He thinks that he's debating a Democratic loyalist.
You are.
I hate
Are you a Democrat or Republican?
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I've actually been actively criticizing the Biden-Harris administration and Trump. Okay, are you going to allow me to finish speaking?
All right, go ahead. Rebuttal.
So you just asked me, where were you and how upset was I when like the Biden-Harris administration were approving like funding weapons and money for Israel?
Can you show me a video?
So I hate to be this guy, right? But I'm actually not a Democratic loyalist, and I was outspoken very loudly about how I think that the Biden-Harris administration's policy directed to being pro-Israel was absolutely atrocious, and that I didn't support the ongoing ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people at that time either. But it's funny because you use this as a deflection away from the question that I asked you, because you are now applauding an apparent step towards peace between Israel and Palestine, saying that it is the reason why you support Trump. In turn, I asked you, well, how absolutely disgusted were you when Donald Trump did a joint press conference with Netanyahu and announced that he wanted to personally ethnically cleanse the rest of the Gaza Strip? And you didn't answer my question, but rather you pulled the "but Biden" card to paint me as a hypocrite because you think I'm just like you and I'm willing to be an absolute raging hypocrite and support anything that is on party lines. But guess what? I'm better than you. I didn't support the Biden-Harris administration, even though they were blue for their support of Israel. And your question there there? Where was I in my active outspokenness for Palestine and against the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people? I was there. Were you?
So I would like to see a video, one of your videos, actually condemning Kamala Harris. Do you have one?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just go back. I have like 207 VODs of my 4 to 6 hour daily lives on my daily live streams. Just go back to one of the first ones of them, like before the election. Scrub through it. Find where I'm talking about Palestine. I've always condemned the Biden-Harris administration for their support of Israel.
I think you should play it for everybody to hear.
It would take me way too long to identify a live before Donald Trump was inaugurated. So you want me to go
look through your fucking bullshit right now?
You don't have to do it right now. You can do it after stream.
Where you actually know where it is, and then by that logic, if she gave so much more money, what makes you think she's going to flip script when she actually said Israel has a right to defend itself?
Okay, well now you're going to go. So now what you're doing is you're attempting to use a secondary question to avoid the first question that I asked you. I will happily engage in further dialogue with you about my thoughts on Kamala Harris, her policy directed towards Israel, and what I think the case would have been like so far in her term if she was elected in November. But before we move on, I just want to make it incredibly clear. This isn't an interview where you get to ask me questions and you don't respond to the questions I ask of you. It's a debate, buddy. And right now, you angry old man, you are running away from the incredibly pressing and clear question that I asked you to demonstrate your blatant hypocrisy. Should I ask it again? And I'm asking that in good faith. Legitimately, should I ask you again?
Yeah, go ahead, ask it again.
Perfect.
I'm a slow one. I'm sorry.
So you told me the reason. So you told me the reason why you support Trump is because we're taking a step towards peace in Israel and Palestine. The question that I asked you, and I want you to answer it, is, well, how absolutely disgusted were you when Donald Trump announced a joint ethnic cleansing of the rest of the Gaza Strip 3 months ago, where he said he was going to personally forcefully relocate all of the remaining Palestinians in Gaza to Jordan and Egypt, impose sanctions on them if they didn't agree, and then level the Gaza Strip, build a Riviera, and gift it to Netanyahu?
So, ethnic cleansing and relocate, are those two the same things?
So, yeah, like a forceful relocation of an ethnic group.
So, what is it actually? Define ethnic cleansing for me.
Yeah, the definition. According to Oxford Language, the definition of ethnic cleansing is the forceful expulsion or killing of an unwanted ethnic group in society. So yeah, like the forceful expulsion and relocation of like the 2 million Palestinians living on the Gaza Strip would fulfill the definition of ethnic cleansing per Oxford Language's definition.
Oh, the irony. So do you understand what the word Palestine actually means?
Do I know like where the word Palestine comes from? No, I don't.
So actually the word Palestine is actually Roman. It's not even Arab. And you know, so during the Battle of Kukbar, in the last Jewish rebellion, it was the Romans' way of trying to undermine the Jewish rights to the land. In 135 CE, the Battle of Kukbar, look it up.
I'm sorry. Anything that happened in 135 CE has nothing to do with how Donald Trump wanted to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip?
So literally the name Palestine means to ethnically cleanse the Jews from the land. The irony, there's the fucking irony.
The name Palestine? Okay, well, I'm looking up on Google right now, is the word Palestinian Roman? And I mean, the first thing I hear or that I'm reading here,
they renamed Judea Palestine.
Roman invention. And now you're saying that the word Palestine is the ethnic cleansing of like the Jewish individuals. Okay, so point number one, even if this were to be true, this doesn't mean that it is the case that what Donald Trump announced he wanted to do with Netanyahu was ethnic cleansing. Point number two, this sounds like a bold-faced goddamn lie, and I'd ask you to prove it, you silly motherfucker. Oh, he can't prove it because he laughed. Of course he did. Of course he did, just like the last guess. Well, I mean, at least he lasted longer with me than he did his ex-wife. All right, moving on to the next guest, guys. Hop inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump. We'll get you loaded up. We got Jaden loading in next. Eduardo, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you. I just read your message there, Eduardo. That is incredibly kind of you. Chat, please show some love to Eduardo down below in that chat for the $20. Thank you so much for the kindness. Let's get to Eduardo W's. What's up? Do you support Trump, Jaden?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
What year were you born in?
05.
What month?
October.
Okay, so why do you support Trump?
I support Trump mainly because, well, it's kind of hard. I mean, I support Trump, but I mean, I don't support him as a person, kind of a piece of shit. But I feel like he was the better candidate compared to Kamala Harris.
Okay, why?
Well, whenever...
Can't hear you when you leave the app.
Oh, I didn't leave the app.
Okay, you're back now. So why do you think that Kamala Harris was definitely worse than the man that you self-described as a total POS?
I think as a person, he's a piece of shit. I think as a president, I think he was okay. He's pretty good.
Okay, well, I mean, there's so many issues in that statement, but I first want to hone in on why you think Kamala Harris was so bad.
Okay, because she was in control of the border situation when under Biden, and we're 8.8 million.
Ooh, where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from? That she was in control of the border?
I looked it up. I don't remember exactly where it was. Where did I seen it from?
Well, I'll tell you. You heard it from like some Republican on Twitter, but it's not true. So it's a stretch of the truth. What the truth is, that's not stretched, is that by Biden, she was delegated an immigration duty of working diplomatically speaking with Southern Latin American countries to help resolve the negative socioeconomic conditions caused by the pandemic in their country to reduce the incentive for immigration into America in the first place. Like one of the countries that she worked really successfully with was Guatemala, and through her diplomatic attitude, she was able to reduce immigration from Guatemala by upwards of 50%.
Okay. Before we keep going, so I'm still new into politics. I've been trying to get into it, and you know what I'm saying, I'm more so hoping to be convinced if we're able to, at least. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I'm saying I was a big fan of Charlie Kirk, so just throwing that out there.
Okay,
but
you being a fan of CK, I mean, doesn't answer the question that I asked you. That question being, like, for instance, why do you think America would be worse off today if Kamala Harris had won the election?
Well, like I said, when she was under Biden, it didn't seem like, because it seemed like they maybe they had like similar goals, whatever, and it just didn't seem like America was better under him or under both of them. And I just think that Trump was just a better candidate because comparing it to his last term, you know what I'm saying? I don't support the illegal immigration. I don't support the.
Can you just give me like one clear reason, man? I feel like you're just kind of saying words. Can we get one clear reason why you think America would be worse off today if Harris had won the presidency?
Well, I think she wouldn't have done anything different about the illegal immigrants coming in. She would have like kept like the same like border policy as Biden. I think that things would be significantly better off today if that was the case. So you're for illegal immigration?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what they did, right? What they did is they honed in on attempting to pass bipartisan border legislation to increase the amount of judges that we have working in courts on the southern border, to expedite the legal process of immigration into this country, right? To crack down on reducing undocumented entry by removing its incentive, which would be the fact that the legal processes are so unattainable as they take too long, as the processes are just like so neglected. And it would have been a step in the right direction to hire more judges to run those courts. Not to mention that, like, even about deportations, they had higher levels of the deportations that I care about compared to Donald Trump today, right? The only undocumented immigrants that I think that should be deported are undocumented immigrants with prior violent offenses, okay? They should either be put in jail for the violent offense or deported to another country where they're put in jail for the violent offense. And the fact of the matter is, if you go to ice.gov/statistics and then you isolate for prior violent offenses and then you observe the arrests and deportations made by ICE quarterly, you will see that under the totality of the Biden-Harris administration, they simply had more than under Donald Trump today because his scope is larger, focuses on all undocumented immigrants, including the vast majority of them who I don't think should be removed.
So I agree that the process should be simpler, and if they was trying to speed up the process, then I think that's cool.
What is Donald Trump doing to try to speed up the process?
I honestly don't know. He's
not doing anything. So yeah, that's one reason why I think that that Biden and Harris's immigration policy was better. You know, let me just ask you this. What is Donald Trump's immigration policy at all? Like, what is he doing to enforce good, proactive, long-term policy to reduce undocumented entry? Tell me what it is.
Well, I think if we pretty much put our foot down, don't let these people come in, deport the ones who do come in.
But
I think
putting your foot down is like a rhetorical device. It's not the name of a policy. Like, what is like a policy that Donald Trump implemented in his first term, or a policy that he's implemented in the last 9 months that served as a good, proactive, long-term policy to reduce undocumented entry?
Like I said, man, I'm new to politics. I'm still trying to learn. Can you enlighten me?
Okay, well,
Tell me.
the answer is nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
The reason why we see lower levels of undocumented border entries today is because he's playing a wannabe authoritarian fascist, and he's convincing undocumented immigrants that if they do enter into this country, they'll have a lower quality of life by violating both the constitutional and human rights of the undocumented immigrants that are already in our country.
Right, but like, why should we allow illegal immigrants to come here? Why should we? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? Why should we let people come over here who possibly are possibly murderers, possibly rapists, possibly kidnappers, possibly we don't. That's saying we don't.
Wait, if we shouldn't allow somebody into the country because they're possibly a rapist, then why did you allow a definite convicted rapist to run the country?
Okay, you got me. You got me there, bro. You got me there. Okay, you're right.
Okay, if I'm right on that notion, do you still believe with conviction that we should stop undocumented entry to prevent individuals that are possibly rapists from entering?
I mean, see, man, you're good at this, dude. You're good at this.
Your answer there is obviously yes. So then, therefore, you definitely agree that we should like stop supporting the actual definite rapist that's running the country, right?
It's kind of hard, bro. Because I mean, like, I support that he doesn't want illegal immigrants coming in, but I don't support that he is a rapist. Like, if he's like that, I mean, that's fucked up. At the same time,
well, I just think it makes you a fucking hypocrite. Like, you're over here saying that we should like destroy lives and destroy our economy in the process, but because we should deport like millions of undocumented immigrants because they're guilty of a singular misdemeanor. But Donald Trump should be president even though he's guilty of 34 felonies. Should be president even though he's guilty of rape. Should be president even though he's guilty of defrauding students at Trump University. Should be president even though he's guilty of lying about the property of one of his values on a loan form with a bank in New York. Should be president even though he intentionally concealed classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Should be president even though he was sued by the New York State Justice Department in 1973 for not renting to black tenants. Should be president even though he tried to coup our goddamn Capitol and rig the outcome of the federal election in 2020, then admitted to it in court. Should be president even though on his first day in office he did something unconstitutional when he signed Executive Order number 14160 into law, banning birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants. Should be president even though he called for a violation of the Second Amendment when he told his DOJ to pursue means to ban all gun ownership for trans Americans. Should be president even though he literally told you a week ago that he's taking your free speech away by trying to ban the burning of the American flag, even though SCOTUS ruled that was protected under free speech in 19.
Okay, I got a question about that. Here's my rebuttal against that about the burning of the flag thing, right? So so if we say racial slurs, isn't that technically a use of our First Amendment of freedom of speech? But at the same time,
I think
it's considered hate speech, right?
So, I mean, obviously using racial slurs is colloquially understood as hate speech. I'm not so sure on like the constitutional litigation of the use of racial slurs surrounding its legality.
Okay, but we can agree that you know what I'm saying? We can agree that racial slurs are hate speech, right? And which we shouldn't support, right?
Right.
It's the same thing when it comes to most and 90% of the like whenever people are burning flags, can't that be considered hate speech? Can't that be considered hateful? You know what I'm saying? That's always going on with protests. It's always going on with hateful things. Violence is striking. Like, that's the only time. So I mean, I can see why he did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So trying to calling a black person the N-word, when the N-word has been historically used as a term to societally oppress black individuals, leading to the consequence of the enslavement of black individuals in this country for hundreds of years, their consequential murder, rape, so on and so forth, is just categorically not the same thing in my eyes as burning a piece of fabric in protest of those that are representing the fabric and running said country into the ground by implementing tenets of fascism, violating our constitution, and screwing over our own citizens.
Okay, but if I burn a Black Lives Matter flag like that, I would be considered racist and hateful. How come somebody burns?
I think it should. If you go out and buy a BLM flag, I think it should absolutely be within your legal right to burn it. Would I disagree with you? Yeah, but do I think you should go to jail? No.
Okay, I can see that. No, I can see that. You got me there. Another thing, another reason I support Trump would be because, like I said, I don't support abortion. That's one reason, and he seems like he's with that. And Kamala Harris didn't seem like she was. She seemed like she was and she was pro-choice. I'm pro-life, so that's another reason.
So are you pro-life in all circumstances? Like, do you think that victims of rape should be able to access abortion?
I do not think that victim of rape should be access to abortion now.
Can you go somewhere that's a little bit more quiet?
Sorry, man. I'm in a house full of liberals too, man. I don't want to offend them.
Okay. Like, anywhere else? We just hear like the road, and there's a bunch of road noise.
Yeah, I got you. I'm trying to move around
Jesus
here.
Christ. Okay, we'll talk to you about that crazy dude. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Let me go and thank a handful of donors, and then we'll hop right back into the debate. Jesus Christ. I think that's such just like a terrible belief. 1 second. Jaden, thank you for the $5 on Super Chat. Jaden says, is he for real? Yeah, he is for real. Terrible shit, dude. As well as Bailey, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo, saying pour one out for Jalen. Appreciate you for the love, Bailey. As well as Kevin, thank you for the $10, saying, hey, Dean, I love what you do. Thank you so much for the love, Kevin. Show some love to Kevin and Bailey down below in that chat. As well as Keely 10 minutes ago, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Keely says that you could have quote, you silly motherfucker, scratch my brain just right. Thank you for the love, Keely. And then Dalen, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Jesse, thank you for the $3. And Hannah, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. Hannah says, I know it's been a while, but it's good to be back watching you. Yo, happy to have you back, Hannah. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Thank you for the $15. As well as Carissa, thank you so much for the $25 donation on Venmo. Carissa says, thank you for everything that you do. Well, thank you for your kindness. Thank you for the $25 donation to what we do here. Show some love to Carissa in that chat. As well as Mary, thank you for the $20. And Serenity, thank you for the $20. Show some love to Mary and Serenity down below. Let's go ahead and check out PayPal real quick. Mark, thank you so much for the $17.87 over on PayPal. Mr. Mark, it is so good to see you again. It's been a while. Hope you're well. You've been tuning in for a while. As well as Gabby, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. And we are all caught up. I appreciate everyone for the love. If you want to support me and what we do here, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in the pinned message on the YouTube stream. Now, back to the debate. So you don't think that victims of rape should be able to access abortion, and why is that?
I believe in the value of human life. I think that it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously, it's an unfortunate situation that if somebody was raped, but I still believe that is human life and that life should be protected.
Okay, all right. Did you know that you could actually hold a consistent pro-choice for rape victims view, even if you think that the life of a fetus is morally valuable, even if you think that they have the same right to life that you and I do?
Did I know that? No, I did not know that.
I'll explain how right now. You could believe that the fetus is its own morally valuable human person, just like you or I, while still believing and upholding the position that victims of rape should be able to access abortion, rooted within the fact that they have no obligation to provide their bodily resources against their will without their consent to the fetus, keeping the fetus alive, meaning that they are well within their rights, both morally and hopefully legally speaking, to stop supplying their bodily resources to keep the fetus alive, even if the fetus dies as a result.
Is there any way you could simplify that for me? I'm a little slow, bro.
Okay, don't call yourself don't call yourself that, man. A way to simplify this: the fetus needs to be in that woman or girl's uterus to live.
Right.
The fetus needs to be reliant on her bodily resources through that umbilical cord to live. The fetus needs those things to stay alive. Okay? But the woman has no obligation to give the fetus those things. Why would she? She didn't consent to sex. It was forced on her. She didn't consent to pregnancy. It was forced on her. She didn't consent to providing her bodily resources and her uterus to sustain the life of the fetus. It was forced on her. So why should we continue to force her to provide those things in a perpetual and ongoing state to keep the life of the fetus thriving?
Right. I mean, I can definitely see the point being made. Sorry, these motherfuckers. I can definitely see the point being made, and I can see why some people could go with that. But me personally, I just believe that life begins at conception, and I mean, like I said, it's unfortunate and stuff like that. But it's just I believe that child has a right to life. Like, I mean,
Okay,
I think
you're just not even arguing against a view, because even in that view, we assume that the fetus has a right to life, and it's still not wrong for the woman to abort it. How about I try to make this point clear with the use of an analogy? Okay? All right, so here's the analogy. You make just enough money to survive. Every dollar that you spend goes towards food to feed yourself. And one night, somebody walks into your house through the front door, and they take half of your food to feed themselves. And you know that they are going to take half of your resources for the next 9 months. And you know if you continue to allow them to do this by keeping your front door unlocked in the middle of the night, that you will experience physical pain, you will experience mental trauma, and there's even like a 3 to 5% chance that you are literally going to die from starvation if they continue to take half of your resources. Do you think that you would be doing anything morally wrong by merely locking your front door at night to prevent that non-consenting third party from taking half of your resources, even if they die as a result from starvation themselves?
Hell no, man, forget that dude.
You do think you'd be doing something morally wrong?
No, hell no. I think I'd be doing something right for me. Forget that damn thing.
Right, exactly. So those are your resources. Those resources are your property, right? And you have the right to tell anybody off that tries to take those resources, your property, away from you without your consent, even if they unfortunately die as a result. So then why doesn't a grape victim?
I think that's just that's not exactly the same, bro. Like, I mean, like it's not exactly the same, dog. You know what I mean?
You're right. It isn't exactly the same. Your goddamn uterus inside of your body is a whole lot more personal and meaningful than a goddamn can of beans, right? So you're right. They're not exactly the same. It's just the best analogy I could come up with on the spot. But the differences between the personal resources of your womb, your uterus, and your bodily resources are significantly more valuable and meaningful than the can of beans in your pantry.
But the reality, though, is
so go ahead and tell me why you have the right to tell anybody off who's taking your resources away from you without your consent, even if cutting them off kills them, but a victim of rape doesn't. Tell me, please. I'm begging to know the answer to this question.
Hey, cuz, why are you getting mad for, bro? I'm being respectful, dog.
Sir?
I'm just trying. I really want to be.
I'm actually not mad. I'm actually not mad. I'm just passionate about this shit.
Okay, I got you. And I'm passionate about the life of an unborn baby. You know what I mean? I'm passionate about that. You know what I mean? I think, like I said...
So go ahead and tell me. Once again, I'm going to ask the question one last time because you're just not telling me. I'll repeat it. Why do you have the right to tell anybody off that's taking your resources away from you without your consent, even if it kills them as a result, but a victim of grape doesn't? Tell me.
Because
what's the difference?
Because first of all, if somebody coming over taking my shit, bro, I'm not, what's the word? I'm not responsible for that person. I'm not responsible for that person.
Okay, so then why is the victim of grape responsible for the fetus?
Because it's in her body, dog.
Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. So it all has to do with being in her body. So if
in a way, it's still 50% in her DNA.
Okay,
I mean,
got it. So if it has to do with her body, let me get this straight. So if a victim of grape, right, has a fetus removed from her body, is still alive, and then they kill it, it's not morally wrong because she's not responsible for it. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, it was turned off. Well, at the end of the day, though, she knows that if that fetus is taken out of her body, that it's going to die.
Okay, just like you know if you lock your front door at night in the hypothetical I gave you, and this person no longer has access to your resources, they're going to die, but you still said, I am damn well within my rights to do so.
Yeah. I mean... Oh,
okay, so then just simply saying that a victim of grape knows a fetus will die if she gets an abortion is not sufficient in arguing that she'd have an obligation to sustain its life. And if you do think that's sufficient in arguing that she'd have an obligation to sustain its life, well, then you're a raging fucking hypocrite for telling me that even if you have the foreknowledge of the individual that's breaking into your house dying if you cut them off from your resources, that you are still within your rights to cut them off.
Right. I mean, I just think I don't think those go hand in hand, bro. I don't think.
Well, what's the difference? We're still waiting on you to tell me the difference because the first difference that you're trying to point out. Oh, it's 50% of her DNA.
Yeah, it's 50% of her DNA. At the end of the day, that's still technically her child, bro. At the end of the day.
So she shares DNA with it. So let me get this straight. So if a woman is raped, she's not allowed to access abortion because that fetus shares 50% of her DNA. But like for instance, if a surrogate mother that gets an IVF embryo implanted into her uterus that doesn't share any of her DNA, she was well within her rights to get an abortion, right?
I was like, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, so like for instance, if there's a surrogate mother that gets like an IVF implanted into her uterus that is not using her egg and it doesn't share any of her same DNA, then she was well within her rights to access abortion.
That's a good rebuttal. That's good right there. No, I still think that regardless, that's human life, and we shouldn't murder it. We shouldn't kill it.
Great. So then what I'd say to you is, well, guess what? In the hypothetical scenario of the person breaking into your house and taking your food, if you were to come to me and tell me that you should be able to lock that front door at night and kill them from starvation because it's your property, well, guess what, man? Regardless of the fact that the person that's breaking in doesn't share any DNA with you, it's still an innocent human life. Why are you okay with killing the innocent human life by locking your front door at night and cutting them off from your resources? Tell me, seriously.
When somebody agrees to an abortion, they have the intent to kill that child. I don't have the intent to kill this person. I don't understand. I don't know the circumstances of this person. I don't know who this person is. You know what I'm saying? He can go and seek resources from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
So I just want to get it clear. You think that you as a man think that you know the intentions and the mental states and attitudes that are going through the head of a woman when she's pregnant from rape?
I don't, and that's.
But you just try to tell me that you know that their intent is to kill the fetus.
Well, obviously, I mean, abortion. Obviously, what is abortion? Tell me what
okay.
abortion
Well, you're
is.
just telling me because abortion leads to the outcome of death of the fetus. Therefore, the intention is to kill the fetus. So, because in hypothetical, you locking your front door at night will lead to the death of the individual that's breaking in and taking half of your resources. It is your intention to kill them.
No.
Oh, okay, great. So just because something could lead to the outcome of death doesn't mean that the intention is death. Meaning that just because an abortion leads to the outcome of the death of the fetus doesn't mean that the intention of a victim of rape getting an abortion because she got pregnant is to kill it.
Yeah, I mean, if you agree to an abortion, you are agreeing. The end goal of an abortion is for the death of a fetus. That's the end goal. My goal. If I say no,
actually no. The end goal of an abortion is just the removal of the fetus from the woman's body.
Bro, what is you know, come on, you know that an abortion.
No, it's actually not. Women don't get abortions to kill. Women get abortions to live without an incessant infringement upon their bodily autonomy via the presence of the fetus within their uterus. But the reason you're confusing these two goals is because abortion results in the death of the fetus prior to viability. It always does. It's lethal because a fetus can't survive outside of the woman's body. Right? So because those two things go hand in hand, the end goal of the removal of the fetus from the woman's uterus, and therefore the death of the fetus, you were just attempting to confuse me and everybody watching into thinking that women are getting abortions with the intention of killing, and that's why they're doing it. But that's not true, right? And keep in mind, in the hypothetical scenario that I gave you, of you locking your front door at night to keep this burglar out that's taking half of your resources, the end goal of that is going to be a prevention of the non-consensual theft of your resources against your will. But in every single scenario where you're doing this and the parameters of the hypothetical I gave you, that person is dying because they no longer have access to your resources and they're going to starve to death. So in the same way that a woman revoking the ability for the fetus to receive her bodily resources is going to result in the death of the fetus, therefore you're calling her end goal to kill the fetus, I would just simply posit within that hypothetical scenario that I gave you, in every single scenario where you lock your front door at night and prevent that person from taking half of your resources because it results in the death of the person that is breaking in, then your end goal is to kill them. Therefore, in accordance with your own logic, you locking your front door at night in the prevention of theft of your resources is gravely immoral, as you are intentionally doing it to kill the person breaking in. What's your response to that, Jalen?
My response to that is, if that person dies, that person goes out and he dies of starvation. See, I wouldn't even know it. They wouldn't even bother.
No, hypothetical, you know that they're going to die if they no longer have access to your resources. You can't change the parameters of the hypothetical that you already agreed to.
And like, even if that was like, I mean, this is hypothetical, so it's kind of hard to, it's like, even if this was a real thing, and if I do see a person starving, obviously malnourished, and I see he's on the verge of death, then I probably would help the person. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but does this mean that you think it should be illegal for you to lock your front door at night to stop somebody from breaking in and take half of your resources, even if they die from starvation as a result?
even if they die. Yeah, 'cause at the end of the day, that's a grown man. At the end of the day, that's a grown man. You're comparing a grown man to a fetus, like to a child who can't choose for himself, who can't decide, who can't speak for themselves, who can't do anything for themselves.
Okay,
but
so you're saying it's because it's the intention of like the burglar to take half of your resources that therefore it makes it okay to like lock them out because they're intentionally taking your resources and the fetus is not?
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty that's a pretty good.
If the burglar taking half of your resources in the middle of the night was sleepwalking, meaning that they're doing so unintentionally, all of a sudden would you say it'd be morally wrong to lock your front door at night to prevent them? No, because it doesn't have to do with their intentions, and it's all to do with the fact that they're taking your resources from you unconsensually.
That's not very realistic though. Ain't nobody sleepwalking breaking into people's houses.
Well, dude, fucking Superman isn't realistic, but you'll still sit down, watch a Superman movie, and yield moral conclusions about how wrong it is when Lex Luthor tries to kill him with kryptonite. We could still like take away like principled moral conclusions away from these unrealistic hypotheticals. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Could you hear me before or no?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good now. Yeah, at the end of the day, that's a grown man who's responsible for his own actions. And if somebody tries to come to my house taking my stuff, it's gonna be hell no.
Wait, so you're saying that that person is responsible for the action of taking your resources, even though they're doing so unintentionally and unconsciously as they're sleepwalking? So therefore, a fetus actually is responsible for taking away the bodily resources of the woman, even though they're doing so unintentionally and unconsciously.
No. I was responding to the you know what I'm saying, just in general. He coming in with the intent to take my stuff. Hell no.
But if they're sleepwalking, they don't possess that intent. They're not doing so consciously. Do you still think that you should be well within your rights to lock your front door at night to prevent them?
Yeah, I lock my door.
Okay, then it has nothing to do with intention.
Bro, okay, you're kind of like you're kind of reaching, you're stretching things out from what?
Nah, bro, I'm not reaching at all. You just said if there's an actor that is unintentionally and unconsciously taking your resources from you, you are still within your right to cut them off from those resources, even if they die as a result. Correct?
Right. Okay.
Isn't that what the fetus would be doing to the victim of rape?
Unconsciously? I guess in a way it could, yeah. I guess in a way, yeah.
So therefore, the victim of rape would be well within their rights to stop supplying those resources to the fetus, even if it kills a fetus as a result, correct?
No.
Oh, what's the difference though? Because you agreed that if somebody is unintentionally, unconsciously taking your resources from you, you're well within your rights to cut them off even if they die. You then agreed that that is exactly what a fetus is doing, but then you disagreed that a woman should be able to cut them off from the fetus even if the fetus dies. At this point, you were just admitting to believing in a contradiction. You cannot tell me that you believe X being that you were within your rights to cut somebody off from your resources even if they die, even if they're doing so unintentionally, unconsciously, and then state that a fetus is unintentionally, unconsciously taking resources away from a rape victim without their consent, and then argue that still yet the victim of rape shouldn't be able to cut those resources off. That is an explicit contradiction. What the hell?
Bro, okay, you're stretching, dog. Like this is not.
It's actually not a stretch. That is exactly what a woman is doing when she accesses abortion. What is the stretch? I want you to very clearly state the stretch.
Okay. So if there's a child, right, there's a little kid who unintentionally steals something and stuff like that, are we gonna sit here? Are we gonna punish that kid for that? Are we gonna smack? Are we not gonna smack their hands, tell them not to do that again? Are we just gonna let them continue to do it because it's unintentional, because they don't understand the you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, sure. Like, what is your answer to that question? If a child was like taking your resources from you without your consent, do you think that you should have your legal right to prevent them from doing so?
I'm gonna tell the child that's not right. I'm teaching them, right? I'm teaching them.
But do you think that you should still possess the legal right to like stop the child from accessing your resources if in accessing your resources it puts your life in 9 months of peril, physical pain, mental trauma, and introduces a 3 to 5% chance of killing you?
Yeah. If it involves my life, then yeah, get up out of here. I think
then the age of being a child doesn't matter.
I think just in general, bro, life is valuable, regardless of the father. It's valuable.
Stop generalizing this conversation to subtract away from the fact that I'm cooking your ass with this analogy.
No, because it's not the same. Like you're like that's like me.
You could say it's not the same, but you actually can't tell me why. You could say it's not the same, but you can't tell me what the difference is.
Because you're comparing apples to oranges, bro.
Okay, well, apples and oranges in this sense would be two incredibly different things, and you'd be able to articulate the relevant differences between said apple and between said orange.
Right,
Can you articulate the relevant differences between a victim of rape accessing abortion due to the fact that the fetus is unknowingly, unintentionally, and unconsciously taking her bodily resources away without her consent, and she's just actuating upon her consent to revoke the fetus's ability to do said thing, and the analogy that I gave you? Can you please tell me the very specific difference?
The woman understands that when that child is taken out of her body, that is going to die.
That's not a difference, though. In the hypothetical, you understand when you lock your front door, the person's going to die.
I don't understand that. I don't know that person. There's other resources.
Bro, we already went through this. If you knew that the person would die from starvation as a result of you locking your front door to prevent them from taking your resources, should you still be within your right to lock that front door?
Yes.
Okay, so even if you understand that they died as a result, you're still within your right to cut them off.
But
boom, not a difference.
Here's the difference.
Yeah, tell me the difference.
Okay, I got you. Here's the difference. That child is solely dependent on its mother. There's no other resources for it. There's nothing else that could help that child. There's nothing else that will carry on the life of that child.
Right.
That person potentially has other resources. They can go to the neighbor's house.
Actually, no, because now you're just... No, actually, no. Because in the hypothetical, you told me that you still think that you should be able to lock that front door at night and prevent said burglary, even if you understand that that person breaking in and taking your resources would die as a result from starvation. Obviously, if they would die as a result from starvation, then they would be solely dependent on your resources to live. That is self-implied. No, 1 second. That is literally self-implied. This is like as self-implied as me saying that if I take a step forward, then I understand that I would have moved. Okay? Moving would be necessarily implied by taking a step forward, just like not having access to anybody else's resources would be necessarily implied that due to the fact that we're understanding if this person were to no longer have access to your resources, they would die. So that's not a difference either. What's the difference? I'm gonna keep on cooking your ass. See, the only way that you could argue that women shouldn't be able to access abortion is by engaging in the most illogical, uninformed, irrational takes known to mankind. And I take great pleasure with a smile on my face of exposing that shit. Good God. Look at this. Look at this big old smile exposing the irrational nature of your argument.
First of all, here's what I'm doing. You're doing. I'm coming at it with a moral standpoint. Regardless that as a child, that's a baby, it deserves life. You are coming at it in a logical.
Oh, I muted you. Finish that sentence. I didn't want you to finish that sentence, but now I do. Unmute. You left off on saying that I'm coming at this from a logical, and then I cut your mic. I actually want you to finish that sentence. Click on your profile picture, then click the icon of the microphone. My apologies for muting you. Please finish that sentence.
My bad. You're good.
So you left off at saying I'm coming at this from a logical,
a legalistic point of view. You're coming at it like I'm coming at it in a moral standpoint, bro. Like I think, regardless that that's a child, it deserves life. You're coming at it in like using analogies and just trying to justify murder. That's what you're doing. You're trying to justify murder.
Hey, piss boy. We've already went through how you think if the person taking half of your resources
that's
from your house.
Murder though. It's not murder though.
Hey, Chandler, thank you so much for the wolf. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Chandler. Thank you so much. Show some love to Chandler in that chat. So without interruption this time, piss boy, you told me that if the person that is breaking into your house in the middle of the night was a child, you still think that you should be within your legal right to lock your front door at night, preventing their access to your resources, even if they die, because if they continue to access your resources, you could die, right?
But no. If it's a child, I'm gonna help a child. Regardless.
Okay, but I didn't ask you if you would lock your front door. I asked you if you think you should have the right to.
Yeah, regardless, I should always be able to have the right to lock my door, regardless.
Even if it's a child. So drop the fucking virtue signal, you piece of shit. Oh, it's a child. It's a child. Oh, but if I was in a situation where a child was unconsensually taking my resources, inducing 9 months of physical pain, trauma, 9 months of mental pain, trauma, and even a 3 to 5% chance of literally killing me, I should still maintain the right to kill the child regardless. It's a child. Oh, yeah, dude, it's just it's not a child. It's a virtue signal because you don't care about the child. You simply just care about punishing and controlling women because, well, I was about to say because they decided to have sex, but we're talking about rape victims, so they didn't even decide to have sex. So honestly, it's just punishing and controlling women, period. God, I mean, what else am I supposed to think here? When it's you, when it's your resources, when it's possibly your life, you think you should be well within the rights to cut that third party off, deny them your resources, even if it kills them. Regardless if they're doing so intentionally, unintentionally, regardless if they're an adult, a child, it doesn't matter. You think you should have that right. But if it's not you, because it's a woman and you're a man, all of a sudden, it's about the innocent life of the child, and if a woman gets an abortion, she's a goddamn murderer. You know what? You're a goddamn spineless coward. We're going to go to move on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you support Trump. Who's next? We got Chase Post loading up into the stream. Here we go, folks. Marin, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. I appreciate you for that love. Show some love to Marin down below. Let's get 200 Marin W's. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
What year are you born in?
2005, March.
Okay, and what time is it?
It's 6:08.
Perfect. Quickly, before we continue our debate, I just want to thank a handful of people. Once again, seriously, Marin, thank you for the $20. Marin says somebody needs to explicitly describe what it's like being assaulted to this person, and then he can tell me to my face about his moral righteousness. I'm so angry. No, those conversations piss me the fuck off too. Ooh, they piss me off so much. I completely agree. I'd also like to thank Morgan. Thank you for the $20 on Venmo. Let's show some love to Morgan in that chat. Morgan says, it is dangerous in this country for a woman to have a child. I have a high chance to die, and if I get raped, and then the man attempted to murder me. Also, I don't know the child that I would be having, so why should I protect it if I don't know who they are? Per your logic. Well, Morgan, I appreciate you for the $20. As well as Amanda and Bailey, I appreciate you both for the $5. Kelly, thank you for the $5. Kelly says, thank you for doing all that you do. Thank you so much, Kelly. As well as Corey, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo. Corey says, please run for office. Maybe one day. Thank you so much for the love, Corey. As well as Kelly, that is Kellie with the $25. Kelly says, from someone who's spent over $50K to create embryos, I paid extra to get them tested for viability, and half of my embryos are missing severe chromosomes. You think those should still be implanted and birthed, even though the doctor said they wouldn't live past 2? You'd probably say, yeah. Thank you for the $25, Kelly. As well as Hannah, thank you for the 1. Nikki, thank you for the 5. Kiana, thank you for the 5. Ray with the 1. Beth, thank you for the $10. And holy shit, Claudia, thank you so much for the $100 donation over on Venmo. Show some goddamn diddly darn love to Claudia down below in that chat. Holy fuck, Claudia, that is so much money. That is incredibly kind and generous of you. I seriously do not deserve that. Claudia, that is nuts. Claudia with a $100 says, watching your lives throughout the workday, thank you for doing what you do. Stay awesome. Claudia, you're a goddamn icon, I tell ya. I want you to stay awesome. Thank you so much for the $100 donation. As well as Tristan, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal, saying a year ago I considered myself a Republican, and now today because of you, I'm a liberal. Let's fucking go, Tristan. As well as Marco, thank you for the 5. Carolina, thank you for the 5. Christina, thank you for the 6. And Dane, thank you for the 5. I think that we are all caught up. We also got CJ with the 10 Canadian dollars over on Super Chat, who says, Piss Boy is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Thank you for the $10. Yeah, I'm going to start calling more people that. And awesome. We're all caught up. I appreciate you guys for your love. Now, Jessica, everybody in my chat is spamming that you've been up before. I honestly don't think that you have.
I have not been up. I have dual citizenship if I say I'm from New Zealand.
I usually remember the people that have been up. I've been
on Parker's, not yours.
Okay, I'm gonna stay hesitant of like what the chat is saying, telling us that you've been up before. Just give an argument. Why do you support Trump? If you've been up before, I'll definitely be able to recognize you from your argument.
Okay, I feel like we've been debating a lot of the same stuff, so we can talk about the school lunches if you want.
What?
How Trump stopped the school lunches. I don't see this as negatively a bad thing. Countries like UK, New Zealand, where I'm from, we don't have 3 school lunches, and it's, I think, a necessity for the parent to be able to provide for the children, and I feel like he's stopping unnecessary spending. for stopping the funding for these school lunches, and then this money can go towards maybe like new schools infrastructure, which I think will more positively affect the children of America.
Okay. So it's not just debt spending, it's an investment that generates an ROI. So we know when we provide free school student lunches to children in K through 12 that their educational outcomes are better. When one's educational outcomes are better, so are their work prospects in the future. And when their work prospects in the future are better, they're more likely to get paid more. And when they're more likely to get paid more, they're also more likely to pay more in taxes. Right? And when they pay more in taxes, that would result in a higher level of government revenue being generated, meaning that the original investment into funding free school student lunches is ultimately a positive investment that puts the government in the green at the end of the day. Just purely looking at it from an economic perspective, free school student lunches are a good investment that generate a return for the government.
Okay, the government's funding, how about people from high SES backgrounds that can afford their own school lunches? That's generally unnecessary spending because their parents can afford these lunches.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're not going to have like some comprehensive analysis done on the socioeconomic status of every student in every school in America. In fact, that'd be incredibly expensive, meaning that we should just provide this as a blanket free-for-all. And like typically speaking, if a student would have access to like food from home, maybe their parents are high-income earners, then they're more likely to prefer food from home than cafeteria food provided by the school.
That's correct, but what about countries like New Zealand? I think our IQ is pretty high. Australia, our IQ is pretty high, not higher than America's, but like pretty close to America's, and we're doing completely fine. And our government invests in infrastructure, etc.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying if we took away free school student lunches, America would crumble. But I am saying that America would be worse. The moral fabric of this country would be eroded, and you'd be unjustly denying children food when it leads to better educational and health outcomes. So, hey, maybe Australia and New Zealand would be even better than they are right now if they started funding free school student lunches.
Never know. Okay. Do you want to talk about abortion?
Well, I mean, where's my thought process wrong on that last topic?
I feel like it's pretty balanced argument. You have your points, I have my points.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that your points were wrong because you said that money could be better spent elsewhere, like on school infrastructure. First and foremost, Donald Trump isn't just defunding free school student lunches. He wants to get rid of the totality of the Federal Department of Education. Second of all, I told you how it generates a positive ROI, which leads to more government revenue than not because we're making this investment in the first place, which actually means we would have even more money to generate and build and pay for new school infrastructure. Third of all, for the most part, school infrastructure is not paid for or subsidized by the federal government, but rather paid for on the local level through local property taxes.
Okay, that's right. What was your second point? How are we going to be better off?
Well, I think the second point that I made there is we'd actually have more federal money that we could potentially subsidize for local school districts to build new infrastructure if we were to pay for.
How are we going to have more money when we're paying for the lunches?
Well, because of the very simple concept of an investment. How am I going to have more money if I pay $15 into an Nvidia stock? Well, it's because the Nvidia stock is going to become more valuable the longer I hold on to it. And maybe 10 years from now, that Nvidia stock that I paid $15 into is going to be worth $150, right? Well, in the same notion, if we spend a couple $1 billion on free school student lunch programs now, increasing the educational and health outcomes of these students, and with better educational outcomes comes higher levels of admittance into college and higher levels of education, which leads to higher levels of skill within the labor force, which of course results in higher wages. And with higher wages comes more tax, and with more tax comes more government revenue, because that's what tax is. We'll ultimately have more money at the end of the day to reinvest back into these things, as the level of government revenue will be higher. It's when we spend money on a free school student lunch for a child in K through 12, it's not $1 lost, it's $1 invested into their future.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, we can move on to the next topic if you'd like.
No, where am I wrong? Tell me.
No, I think you're pretty right, but yet again, if you're looking at high income earners and they're earning free lunches opposed to the low SES backgrounds, it's kind of the same as abortion. Should it be for everyone or should it be for the less? But
I think that most free school student lunch programs in America actually have income and eligibility requirements that are proven by the school districts. And I'd support that. Sure, why not? Like, yeah, if your parents are making, you know, like $400,000 per year, right, they have enough money to, like, pay for your food. That's fine.
Of course, it shouldn't be for everyone or should be for no one. That's the thing.
Okay, so you just disagree with the basis of, like, income and eligibility for these things?
No, I agree with the basis, but yet again, it's like abortion. If you have that one exception, then you're not pro life.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to completely ignore that comment because abortion and free school student lunches are significantly different, literally apples and oranges. And second of all, even if like you hold an exception for grape, I would still consider you pro-life.
Fair enough.
Okay. So then where did I go? Have I convinced you that we should be giving free school student lunches?
No.
Okay. Why not? Tell me where I went wrong. See, I actually haven't done this. I haven't done this to a guest before, where I kind of keep the foot on the pedal and I try to figure out exactly why you disagree with me. Because at the end of the day, I think that my argument on the matter is incredibly compelling, and you have no reason to disagree with me. You just simply disagree to disagree. And I think that kind of makes you a little bit evil, man. Like you want like more children, statistically speaking, to starve, right? You want like more children, statistically speaking, to have like worse educational outcomes. You want like the future of this country to be like worse off for like literally no reason at all. Bro, like, holy fucking shit, are you the Grinch?
It made me seem so evil now.
Well, I mean, dude, like, obviously what you're believing in here,
No,
like,
I'm just saying, 'cause I'm
obviously, like, what you believe in here, like, per my position, like, per my perspective, per all the reason I've given to you and more, generates bad outcomes for children, and it generates bad outcomes for the future of this country, right? And you're telling me that, like, you still believe in your original view, but you can't tell me any reason why I'm wrong. So, in other words, you're telling me like, you still believe that we shouldn't be funding these systems, even though, right, the most compelling argument that we have the most evidence for is the thesis that if we defund these systems, then it will generate worse educational outcomes and fuck over the future generations of this country.
It's so incredible because you got to look at other countries. I grew up in the New Zealand system. Now I'm at UCLA. Like we weren't funded growing up, and we're still well off. I got a scholarship in UCLA. Do you think my education is hindered because I didn't have free school lunches?
Dude, when I was growing up, at a certain point, I wasn't given free school student lunches either, and my mom was goddamn homeless, right? And look at me now. I'm doing fine. I'm really educated. Because it's not a question of black and white. It's a question
you just
of barriers that
yourself.
Well, it's actually not a contradiction because
you did.
No, because I'm talking about probabilities and statistical outcomes. I'm not talking about black and white indefinite outcomes, right? I'm not.
Well, you just said you weren't given school lunches.
I'm not saying that defunding free school student lunch programs is like this black and white ideal in which is then going to forcefully subjugate every single student in school to a terrible life. I'm saying that when you defund these social programs, right, it generates the propensity to increase the likelihood of these outcomes occurring. It's not my fault that you don't understand statistics, and you said that you're studying at UCLA? What a fucking joke.
Far out. Are you studying anywhere? Or you just go on these lives?
No, I dropped out of college.
Okay, you're coming for me.
I am coming for you. The college dropout has a better understanding of basic statistics than somebody going to UCLA.
Does it look like I have an economics degree?
Dude, I didn't learn this in my economics courses. I learned this in like 5th grade math.
Yeah, sure you did.
Come on, obviously.
You learned that in 5th grade math when you didn't have
obviously
government funding food.
Like obviously, what I'm telling you here is that like you're obviously making a bad faith equivocation. I do genuinely believe that you understand the difference between the likelihood of an outcome occurring and the notion that if the likelihood of an outcome occurs, then this outcome will always occur, because that's what you're saying. You're equivocating, right, this black and white notion that just because schools defunding free school student lunches, right, can increase the likelihood of negative outcomes occurring for students, right, therefore it must happen to every student, right? You're making that equivocation, but obviously that's bad faith, right? Like, obviously you're trolling.
No, I'm not trolling.
Okay. Also, I wouldn't doubt it if like New Zealand and Australia do have free school student lunch programs.
We do not. You can Google it. we have the canteen.
Yep. So you actually do have free school student lunch programs in New Zealand. So they began in 2019 for primary and intermediate age students in disadvantaged communities.
Are you talking about like this, like a cafeteria where anyone can come take food?
I'm talking about the Healthy School Lunch Program posted on Ministry of Education New Zealand.
Yeah, that's just a program where they promote you to eat healthy food and they put that food in the canteens where you need to come buy money.
No, it literally provides it for free.
I literally live in the education system over there.
Yeah, you live in America and you support Trump. Does that mean that Trump's a good president? Just because you live in a place and you think something about the governance of said place doesn't mean your thoughts about said governance are accurate.
Of course, if you have the facts and stuff to back it up, then it is accurate.
Right, but you don't.
Not statistics. Statistics are skewed.
So do you want to give me a counter argument to the position that I gave you to very readily justify giving free school student lunches to children in K through 12?
We can switch the topic if you'd like. I feel like you're...
Okay, so then do you concede?
No, I still don't concede.
Okay, why not?
It's still like, sorry, it's hard for me to articulate. It's still for because these high income earners, how can they have this money? How can have this money, this unnecessary government when their parents can pay for it? So if it's for the greater good.
Hey, I'm going to cut you off there, Jessica, because I already told you that I'm completely fine with these free school student lunch programs having an income cap. In fact, they do. Right? So what you're doing is you are ignoring specific parts of the argument that I gave you in order to attempt to find a reason why you don't concede to my argument. That's embarrassing.
Okay, sorry, Dean. Give me an I'll counter argument.
I gave you 3 specific reasons why free school student lunches are good for students K through 12. The first reason why they're good is because they generate a positive return on investment for the American government, and it gives the American government more money at the end of the day, right? The reasoning there is that when we give students food at school for free, we know that education outcomes get better, and when education outcomes get better, so do admittance into higher levels of education, and when both K through 12 education outcomes get better, and we have higher levels of admittance into higher levels of education, then we have higher skilled laborers in the labor force, and when we have higher skilled laborers in the labor force, then those workers get paid more. When you get paid more, you pay more in taxes, meaning that our government makes more money, right? So the first argument is that the government sees a return on investment of the dollars that they spend on the free school student lunch programs.
Okay, yet again, I think this is extremely biased, and you can't just contradict this and say, oh, they're the school lunches are the reasons why they're excelling in their education, etc. That's a very biased point. If you have a statistic to back it up, maybe I can believe you.
Okay, so you're saying it's biased to assume that educational outcomes perform?
It's biased
better
to
given free school student lunches?
Yes, correct, because you have countries like Australia and New Zealand.
Let's see here. Give me a second. Let's see. And boom! Awesome. The study is called School-Wide Free Meal Programs Fuel Better Classroom Outcomes for Students, published in 2021 by the financial institution by the names of Brookings.
Let me Google it.
Wow. Yeah, so not only does this Brookings study that I just gave you demonstrate that it leads to better educational outcomes to give students free school student lunches in school, but it also analyzes the impact of a program that offered school-wide free meals and found that it also led to a significant reduction in suspensions among students.
Okay. You've convinced me. I'll admit you've convinced me.
Yeah, it took me 20 minutes to convince you of something that I wish was common sense. I mean, Elay, at least I convinced you. Let me go and thank a couple people here before we move on to the next topic. Coral, thank you so much for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. Coral says, is she being dense on purpose? You've repeated your argument like 5 times. Listen, I'm gonna be honest, Coral. I think that I repeat like every argument that I give to nearly every single guest like 5 to 10 times. And it's like to the point now where it's like I don't even like recognize that I'm repeating it so often. But what I'll do is I'll watch back on these streams like on the YouTube VOD after the fact, and I will literally hear myself repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. How does that not like annoy the fuck out of you guys as a viewers? Because when I watch the stream back and I hear myself repeat the same thing a billion times, like I honestly like have to turn the stream off because it's just like repetitive and annoying. Not to mention Annie, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat, who says she said it was 6 o'clock. If she's in LA, it's 4. Good catch, Annie. She's banned. Thank you so much for the $20. Show some love to Annie down below in that chat. Great catch. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Show some love to Annie down below in that chat. Okay, now you guys in the chat are saying that it does annoy you. Okay, I want you to understand that I completely get why it would annoy you. Like, it is annoying to hear me repeat the same thing over and over and over again. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box. Like I said, I literally have to turn the VODs off because I just hear like myself repeat myself so many times. All right, we're going to go to get that next guest loaded up in here. I'd also like to thank Courtney. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Courtney says for being spicy with the emotionally draining guests. Dude, I am kind of being spicy today. A little bit more spicy than usual. Let's show some love to Courtney down below in that chat for the $20. Thank you so much for the love. As well as Scott Lynn. Thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Scott Lynn says, your guest is the woman who said it was okay to essay a little boy because they like it. You kicked her. Oh no, that was another guest. Her name was Anne. That wasn't Anne. Thank you for the $10. As well as thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Jessica with a 5 and Darlene with a 2. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you for all the love. And what is going on? Do you support Trump? G.
No, I just want to say some facts about New Zealand real quick.
Unfortunately, I'm going to kick you, man. Don't worry, bruh. If you want to share facts to tell us how based New Zealand is in a lot of ways, I'm pretty sure we already know. New Zealand's not that bad, guys. They have free school student lunch programs. They have a propensity to vote liberal. It's a pretty chill place down there. W New Zealand, but we're just looking for Trump supporters. Hop inside of that queue if you happen to be MAGA. We're going to get you loaded up in here. Let's go to get that next guest connected right now. If you're part of the 11.2 thousand people hanging out with us on TikTok, make sure that you're double tapping and sharing out that live. And if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok at the top of the phone screen and pinned in that pin message over on YouTube. But let's go and get that next guest loaded up here right now. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you are MAGA. We got Corndog69. Oh, loading up in. Holy fuck. Dude. Christopher. One second, Christopher. Corndog, do you support Trump?
No.
Get the hell out of here. Fucking Christopher, dude. Thank you so much for the $250 donation over on PayPal. Holy shit, bro. Guys, let's get like a billion big Christopher W's down below in that comment section. Thank you so much for the love, Christopher. That is like dude, that oh my god. That's outrageous. Thank you. That is so kind of you, man. That is so much money. Thank you so much for your generosity. I do not deserve that. What's that?
You the GOAT, Christopher.
For real, I'm pretty sure you sold yourself out there as a fetus, but he is the GOAT. I want to see so much love for Christopher down below in that comment section. That is incredibly kind of you, man. Christopher didn't even leave a message, just the love. Show some love to Christopher down below in that chat right now. Thank you so much, bro. As well as Kelly, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal, who says Jessica made like 30 different TikTok profiles and put them all the queue at once trying to debate Parker. Oh yeah, apparently she's a troll. Well, I mean, she got pushed, so thank you for the $10, Kelly. Show some love to Christopher and Kelly down below, as well as Monica. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal as well. And shout out to Monica's wife, Kalista. Shout out to both of you. What's up? Do you support Trump, Charlie? It's another child. Children, get out of my life. This isn't a daycare. Quite frankly, not a daycare. Hit the road, all right? Hit the road, guys. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Hit the road. We're going to move on to the next guest. If you're a kid, get out of that queue. while we look for that next Trump supporter. Here we go. As well as, let's see here. Nikisha, thank you so much for the $15 on PayPal. Hello? Who says it's ironic to be quote unquote pro-life but ignore the child after birth. Yeah, no, that's totally pro-life. You know, like, let's force women to give birth, but then once she does, let's just like subjugate the child to the worst conditions possible, right? That's totally pro-life. Thank you for the $15, Nikisha. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do, but I'd like to make one quick point before we get into the discussion.
Have you been up here before?
No, it was my very first time.
Okay. All right. How old are you?
I'm 25.
All right, let me go and thank like literally 2 more people, and then I'll give you the mic. Yo, D, thank you for the $25 donation on PayPal. D says, can you ask the guest if she can legally vote in the U.S.? I'd assume her answer would probably be no, because she's likely here on a student visa, if she's even in America in the first place. But thank you for the $25, D. Show some love to D down below in that chat. Thank you so much for your kindness. As well as Talia, thank you for the 3. Amber, thank you so much for the 2. And Carolina, thank you for the 27R over on YouTube. I don't know what currency that is, but thank you so much. And then Abigail with the $5 and Cara with the $2 over on Venmo. We are all caught up. Thank you guys so much for the love. Go ahead and take it away, man.
All right, so I saw a guy you were talking to earlier, people in the chat. He wasn't being disrespectful or rude or anything. People were saying they were spamming that he's KKK. They were spamming little dick emojis. Okay. The girl right after that, the first thing that she came on and said was, I think everyone should be nicer to each other and be more respectful. And the first thing I saw was laughing emojis and baby bottle emojis.
So you're misinterpreting the chat, or you're misrepresenting them, better off. So when they're spamming KKK, they're spamming KKK in response to me having a conversation with a guest about domestic terrorists. And he was saying like, oh, well, like they're domestic terrorists because like they conceal their face and they commit like hateful things. And then like the whole like chat's response to that was to spam KKK, right? As like an example of a group of people who conceal their identity and do hateful things that like isn't considered domestic terrorists or something of the sorts, right? They weren't calling the guest KKK. You just simply like are like misrepresenting them.
I guess they said he is KKK, but
no, that's not true. The whole chat was just simply spamming KKK. They weren't spamming he is KKK. They weren't spamming.
Okay, I saw it.
They were just saying
we don't have to stick to that. I just think, and you called a guy a piss boy because you were simply disagreeing with him. He was never rude or disrespectful to you. I think my point is.
Okay, and this there's another misrepresentation. Oh my goodness.
That's what happened.
Gracious.
That's what happened.
You're saying that I called him a piss boy because I disagreed with him.
Did he call you a name? Was he disrespectful?
I called him piss boy because he spent 30 minutes having a debate with me about why he thinks that 9-year-old victims of rape should be denied access to abortion. I gave him an incredibly compelling argument with an analogy that he couldn't refute, and then he just went right back down to denying it without any reason. So yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but if you think that 9-year-old victims of rape should be forced to be pregnant with literally no reason, which is the baseless endorsement of the torture and mutilation of our children, because that is exactly what a forced pregnancy would do to the body of a 9-year-old, then I think you deserve, at the bare minimum, to be called a piss boy and an offhand sly remark. Go ahead. I'll defend that one.
Oh, you want me to? Okay. No, I mean, just my point is, sure, and honestly, yeah, I don't agree with the guy either. I don't agree with what he said either. I just think, and this goes for the left and the right, it goes for whatever your viewpoint is, unless a person is being disrespectful or rude to you, I think everyone should try to be better, try to be nice. That's just my opinion. I think the chat can be pretty childish at times and disrespectful and immature.
Yo, listen, the last person who came up here and made this argument ended up calling the whole chat idiotic and stupid, and then told me that I use this blanket as a cum rag. So,
well, yeah, I mean that was pretty weird, but I don't think, I'm not gonna say everyone is stupid. I just think it's not how you should conduct yourself in like a debate. Because I'm gonna say this too. Most people, the majority of people, unless you take public speaking classes and do debates like this, like you. Are not good at articulating their viewpoints, especially in a kind of a conflicting sort of environment, especially with thousands of people watching. So I think the chat is like, thinks that they're on some kind of high road or it acts in a very mean way when that's not really necessary. I mean, everyone's just trying to spread their opinions.
That's just like the nature of the internet, man.
Sure. I guess. I mean, it's just
like
if I had a big following, I would try to hold the reins and try to tell my chat to not be that way.
What am I supposed to like hold the reins on like right now? Like right now, like they're spamming baby bottle emojis. So like I'd assume the reason why they're spamming baby bottle.
I feel like it's because you support it.
I'd say the reason why
you give them a big thumbs up.
The reason why they're spamming baby bottle emojis is because like maybe it sounds like you're kind of being really sensitive.
I mean, a lot of what the people on the left will say is, fucking conservatives or people on the right are so mean and angry and hostile. But then everyone is in here giving baby bottle emojis because I want people to be respectful. That's what's bizarre.
What would you argue is like more hostile? Spamming baby bottle emojis at a TikTok live stream, or labeling your political opposition as domestic terrorists because they stand against fascism?
I don't think that's exactly what that guy was saying.
Oh no, that's what Trump said. The president you support.
So he said. So he verbatim said that every single person who's opposing him is a domestic terrorist.
He said that Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization.
Okay, you're trying to compare that specific scenario to a person in a debate chat, like a debate, online debate, wanting the audience to not be spreading hate and being
the
mature.
Comparison is like between like the hateful nature of like a baby bottle emoji in a TikTok live stream and labeling anti-fascists as domestic terrorists. Like obviously like what Donald Trump is doing here and continues to do every single day is significantly more hateful compared to the chatters on TikTok spamming a baby bottle emoji. But yet you seem to have an issue with the chatters
I think there's hate on both sides.
A baby bottle emoji, but then you actively support Donald Trump. Even
my point is that I think there's hate on both sides.
Dude, this is like saying, well, I think you both are criminals when the two people I'm referring to is like a 14-year-old boy who stole a candy bar from a grocery store, and the other one is like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Like to equivocate and like say that spamming a goddamn emoji in a live stream comment section, right, is equivalently hateful to the president fulfilling
No, I didn't say it was equivalent.
14 minutes of fascism is ridiculous. Right, Frank?
I didn't say it was equivalent. My whole point was everyone should be nice to each other.
You know what? You've beat me. You've beat me in this debate. I can see everyone should be nicer to everyone else. So now that we've agreed that everybody should be nicer, everybody should be more respectful, everybody should be kinder and more benevolent. Now do you want to tell me why you support the 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist, racist, who called all black people lazy, misogynist, who boasted about walking into the naked to the changing rooms of naked teenage girls, who also said that he could just walk up to women and grab them by the P word, and sexualized his own daughter, calling her a hot piece of ass, and hit on a 10-year-old girl saying that he'd be dating her in 10 years, and was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and was sending him letters depicting the body of a naked woman, including the statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret."
Well, let me say this: just because I support him, or I don't really even support him very much, just because I think that I prefer him as president, doesn't mean I support every single thing the man stands on. I don't think he's the second coming of Christ or anything. I think some of those things are
guys. Listen to this guy. I think he's right. He has like the right to moral grandstand here and to tell you to stop spamming emojis in the TikTok live stream section, even though he thinks America's better off under the rule of one of the authoritarian who is now illegally deporting undocumented immigrants where they're beaten, tortured, and starved in Secot and El Salvador for weeks.
I'm not Trump's best friend. Okay, I didn't even vote for him. Here's what I am. I think that Trump is the lesser of other evils. I think that the country would be worse if we had Biden or Harris in office.
Who is more respectful and kind, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump?
I don't know. I guess we could say in public on what we see on TV, maybe Harris would be nicer. Okay. But I mean that's a straight because she
you'd argue here
disrespect him as well.
That we have like
the same way.
So you'd say that Kamala Harris was like more respectful and kind.
Maybe slightly more, yeah.
Okay, so why wouldn't you say we'd be better off with a more respectful and kind president?
Because being nice in a like a public debate, like a presidential debate or whatever, that's a very minute problem compared to the rest of
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. You have spent the last 15 minutes of your life trying to like criticize me for not being nice enough in a debate. But now, all of a sudden, being nice in a debate is a very minute and unimportant point. I'm fucking giggling. I'm giggling, Mr. Piss Boy. I'm laughing my ass off, Piss Boy.
Why are you comparing this platform to, and you as like just a YouTuber, or whatever you are, a TikToker, to a presidential thing?
Well, I would hope
to you whatsoever, but you call me Piss Boy.
I would truly hope that you don't think I have a higher standard to be held to than the president. I would hope it's the other way around.
No, I mean,
right,
bro. It's just basic courtesy.
Can you agree that it's like that? I don't have a higher standard to be held to than the president.
Yeah, you don't.
Awesome. And if anything, the president would have a higher standard to be held to than me. And if respect and kindness in a debate is really minute and unimportant for the president, then it is just completely unimportant for me.
Well, it's kind of spinning what I said. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, dude, this is kind of getting into the point where it's like coping and whining territory. Now, if you want to give,
we haven't even talked about anything political, man.
Now, if you want to give,
you're just upset that I said that your audience is immature.
I mean, do I seem upset? Like, I think,
yeah, you called me Piss Boy, and I didn't do anything mean to you at all. I didn't say anything rude to you whatsoever.
Well, I called you Piss Boy because you seem pretty pissy. Not because I'm mad. It's just kind of what it seems like.
Because you turned it into like a whole thing where I'm trying to grandstand or some shit. Like, I'm just saying everyone on either side should just be nicer and more respectful and more professional to each other, especially if this is a debate platform.
Okay, all right.
And as a person with a large audience, maybe you shouldn't just give a thumbs up to childish behavior.
So let's be more respectful. Let's be kinder. Let's reject childish behavior. Can we start with Trump? He's the embodiment of those three things. So those three things. So maybe we should start with him, right?
Sure.
We should revoke our support because he's the embodiment of disrespect, a lack of kindness, devoid of moral virtues, and the embodiment of immaturity. So we should start by stopping to support him, right?
Again, you're kind of twisting you're basically saying it's black or white. Like, life is black or white, but life is gray.
No, I'm just simply listening to what you're saying. Like, you're saying we as a society should be kinder to one another. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think one of like the really big reasons why we aren't as kind as we should be to one another is because of Trump.
Sure. Yeah. The divisiveness.
Yeah, because Donald Trump is divisive. He causes a lot of a big political divide in this country. So therefore, we should stop supporting him and get rid of that divide. Correct?
It's not that black and white.
Oh, it's not that black and white. Okay,
it's not that simple.
So why should you still support him and be an active hypocrite by arguing that we should have a larger political divide because we have an immature, right, divisive, rude, mean, idiotic commander-in-chief?
Okay, you don't. Okay, so let's say at any job, minimum wage job you get, being friendly and kind is kind of one of the requirements. If you're not that, then you're probably going to get fired, right? But this is a president of the United States. Okay, it's an entirely different thing. So my opinion on whether he's nice or mean or not is irrelevant.
Well, no, it's actually not irrelevant because you've spent the last 25 minutes arguing that we should all be kinder to one another.
That holds no bearing on this conversation.
It does, because Donald Trump is an active major cause of political division in this country.
Dude, if my boss is a dick to me, then I'll quit. Okay, but it's an entirely that's irrelevant to how I feel about who's running the country.
Can you quit being an American really easily?
No, exactly. That's why I'm telling you it's a completely different scenario.
So our options here are limited. We can't all just like quit being an American, but what we can do is we could quit supporting Trump because he's a big cause of the divide. Also, could you stop chewing while you're talking to me?
I'm not chewing. I don't know what you mean by that. But
you've been eating this whole time.
Yeah, you're right. I did eat a slice of pizza. My bad.
Do you think that the president is supposed to lead by example?
Sure. Ideally, yeah.
Okay,
Ideally.
so if the president is supposed to lead by example, what kind of example is he setting for me?
Setting for you?
Setting for me, setting for you, setting for everyone.
Not a very good one, I guess.
No, not a very good one at all. So therefore, you should stop.
But
supporting
again,
him.
so you're making it black or white.
Okay, so then why do you still
It's
support
this or that?
Has anyone heard? Has this guy like said a single reason why he supports Trump the whole time he's been up here?
You haven't asked.
What does that say?
Dude, I told you. I told you he's the lesser of other evils. I told you he's the lesser of other evils. I think that he's better than Biden or Harris. That's what I told you.
So tell me why you think America would be worse off today if Kamala Harris had won the election. Give me an argument.
I think that she's not as strong as of a political or presidential candidate than Trump.
So define strength and then give an argument that she's less strong.
Well, first of all, when she was chosen as vice president, it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Are you answering my? I asked you to define.
I'm answering your question.
No, you're not defining strength, and that was the question that I asked you.
Define strength. I mean, she doesn't give the qualities of a leader.
Doesn't give. So, what are the qualities of a good leader?
She when asked about her policies.
No. You're also not.
I'm answering your question, dude.
No, you're not.
I'm answering your question.
Because
do you want me to give you a dictionary definition? You want me to go look
the
up?
qualities of a good leader have like nothing to do innately with Kamala Harris, right? So you shouldn't be talking about Kamala Harris when I'm asking you what the qualities of a good leader are. What do you think the qualities of a good leader are?
So you're going to ignore the context of this conversation, ask me the definition, dictionary definition of the word leader.
Dude,
that's what you want me to do.
You are saying that Kamala Harris doesn't have the qualities of a good leader. If I don't know what you mean by qualities of a good leader, then I don't know what you're accusing Kamala Harris of not having. So, of course, it is very fair for me to ask you what the qualities of a good leader are, so I can better understand what Kamala Harris lacked.
One of the good qualities of a leader is having a plan, okay? And she did not have that at all, really. I mean, she had no policies or whatsoever, really.
Okay.
Her only thing of vote me into office was I'm a black woman, or claiming that she was black or Muslim or whatever. But she wanted a minority vote. She wanted a woman vote.
Claiming that she was black or Muslim?
She really had no policies or like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to save America in this way or that way. It was just, look at me, I'm a woman and I'm going to be the first woman president, or I'm a minority, so I'm going to be the minority president or whatever.
Yeah.
She really didn't have anything that made me feel like, okay, our country's in safe hands. She has a plan. She's going to help us this way, that way, this way, that way.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is, because you're saying Kamala Harris just had like no real policy or plan, we're going to go over her policy and plan. I'm going to tell you what it was. It's not that she didn't have it. It's just like you're not aware of what it was, right? Because you didn't pay attention. Not my fault that you're uneducated. And then what I'll have you do is, for every policy and plan that I give you that Kamala Harris literally ran on, I will in turn have you give me that same reflective policy of Trump's that he ran on. And let's see who had like a better, more comprehensive plan. We'll start with healthcare policy. Kamala Harris ran on the healthcare policy of A, granting Medicaid a greater renegotiating ability with private pharmaceutical companies, right? So they could whittle down the prices. So we're spending a lower level of taxpayers' dollars on Medicaid. According to the Treasury, this would have saved us $500 billion over the course of the next 10 years. And B, another facet of her healthcare policy was to limit the out-of-pocket costs for private pharmaceuticals to $2,000 per year for every American citizen. So what's Trump's healthcare policy?
I don't know.
Oh, but I thought you said Kamala Harris was the one without the plan.
Calling me misogynist and KKK.
Wait, one second. I thought you said Kamala Harris was the one without the plan, but now it seems like Donald Trump's the one without the plan.
Dude, I don't have ChatGPT in front of me or fucking Google in front of me. I can't list off every single one of Trump's policies.
So now it seems like Kamala Harris is the one with the plan, but let's just keep going. Okay,
because you looked it up, dude. You want me to bring up my computer and look it up?
I don't care. Look it up.
Okay, let me start up my computer you expect me to bring
go tell me
every
exactly.
policy.
Hey, sir, you're getting a little bit of it seems like I don't know, outraged, a little bit angry. Can you tone it down a level? We're trying to maintain a respectful dialogue.
You're not being respectful, though, dude.
Oh, I think I'm being respectful.
You're not funny because you're not being respectful.
You're throwing these very vindictive, claims posturing me to be something that I'm not. I think that's kind of like indicative of like a certain
Your
level
chat's
of
calling me
gaslighting.
a misogynist and KKK.
Wait, one sec. Now you're trying.
And you support it.
No, wait, now you're trying to tell me that like I'm culpable for the actions of other. Oh my God, you're just gaslighting me.
You've literally
Sir,
been
with all due
supporting
respect,
it
you're
since
starting to get
every chat.
really angry. I'm going to ask you to tone it down. I'm going to ask you to bring it down a level.
Oh,
I'm going to
I'm
ask
so
you to
mad.
like. You see, you're acting like a kid, dude. Stop it. Let's just be two respectable,
You aren't
appropriate
acting like a
adults.
kid, apparently.
Let's just do. Oh, now you're trying to give me some hand comment saying that you're freaking out.
That's
dude.
literally what you just did to me,
Okay,
right?
I'm gonna need
That's
you.
what you just said?
I'm gonna need you to just take a deep breath in and calm down. I understand that you're getting upset. It's okay. We're gonna maintain a respectful dialogue. Where we were at is you couldn't tell me.
Dude, your jokes are not funny.
Okay,
because you're being disrespectful.
You're interrupting me, and interruptions are very disrespectful, sir. Please,
Just like you have interrupted me multiple
just tone
times.
it down a level, sir. You're starting to really crash out, okay? So once again, I'm just trying to maintain a respectful dialogue here. So you told us
You're
that
actually
Kamala
not.
Harris.
All right.
Oh, dude, what are we doing here? You're losing your shit. Seriously.
Oh my gosh,
my
you're
God.
so funny, dude. Oh my gosh.
See, like,
someone
what
wants
is he doing?
someone
This
wants
is
you to be respectful,
embarrassing.
and you think it's a joke, man.
Sir,
and you're not respectful.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly. You think it's a joke that I'm asking you to be respectful, dude. Just like keep your cool, dude. That's fine.
You're clearly doing a fucking bit, bro. You're doing a gimmick.
Dude, I need you to bring it down a level. Like, this is insane. This is insane. I mean,
Exactly, like,
dude, I
I'm
need
trying
you
to rage bait.
Dude,
It's
sir,
fucking-
this is crazy. I need
it's
you to bring it
immature,
down. Dude, take a deep breath in.
When have I disrespected you? Tell me when I disrespected you. Tell me when I was your.
Do you need the 77 hertz Zen music?
Sure, that'd be nice.
I'm not going to give it to you. Now, I want you to answer my question. So you told us all that Kamala Harris didn't have the policy, didn't have the platform, didn't have the agenda. I was like, let's play a game. We're going to go through like the individual like categories of policy. We started with healthcare. I told you what her healthcare policy was, and then I asked you what Donald Trump's healthcare policy is, and you couldn't tell me. And then
No, you actually said that you were going to tell me his. You said that you were going to tell me.
Oh, well, he doesn't have any. So there you go. But then you got really mad and you were like, Dean, I don't have ChatGPT or like Google in front of me, so I couldn't possibly know it. So now that you do have a computer open, can you please tell me specifically what Donald Trump's healthcare policy is?
Okay, let me Google because you want me to give you every single one of his fucking policies. I'm gonna Google health care policies of Trump.
Very specific healthcare policy.
Trump 2025. Okay, it doesn't even give me a direct thing like a list or anything.
I know because he doesn't have any.
He doesn't have. You're telling me so he doesn't have any health policies whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't really believe that, but okay.
Then what are they? You have a fucking supercomputer of Google with like a bajillion different searchable results available to you right now. What is Donald Trump's healthcare policy that he wants to get passed through Congress?
Dude, it's not like I can just pull something up within 5 seconds, bro.
Okay, then take more than 5 seconds. Jesus.
Dude, and you're laughing. See, exactly.
I can't even laugh, dude.
No, so you just said.
Oh
I
no!
don't-
Oh, the horror! Oh,
you want me to Google search for you.
Oh, the horror!
His policies, and if I don't do that, then I lose somehow.
Lock me up! Lock me up!
Exactly, and then you're like you think it's so funny.
Lock me up, dude! Take me to jail.
Your whole fucking
Take me
argument
to
here
jail.
has no fucking logic,
Calm
bro.
down. Give me Trump's healthcare policy, piss boy.
Oh my god, you're so funny, bro. You're so funny. When did I call you a name? When was I rude to you?
It's
When
my
did I
first-
disrespectful?
You're
a child, bro. You're a child, and your chat is filled with children, bro.
Okay, all right. Could you give me Trump's healthcare policy?
Bro, you have to use ChatGPT because I fucking Google it. It's not gonna give me a fucking list, dude. You think it's so funny, but you have ChatGPT, bro.
Wait, then load up ChatGPT.
don't fucking have ChatGPT.
Dude, what's Trump's healthcare
How is it
policy?
funny, bro? So basically, if I don't tell you from a fucking list that pops up on ChatGPT, then I'm gonna lose the argument.
I just want to know.
That's ridiculous, bro. And you're laughing like kicking your feet like it's funny, bro. That's silly. That's a silly debate style.
Sir,
that's not like that's not. Oh, I'm
an
somehow
open
smarter
book
now.
test.
I'm
This is-
somehow superior
sir.
because I pulled up all our policies.
Sir, this is an open book test. Use any means, right, available to your disposal to tell me what Donald Trump's healthcare policy is.
Bro, it's just not pulling up. I don't even want me to. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Google's not great, bro. It's not pulling up a list or fucking health, fucking
It's because-
military.
dude,
It's not pulling up any of that shit. Bro.
Listen to my voice. Just block the haters out, King. Focus on me. Okay, listen to my voice. The reason why you can't find any Trump healthcare policy is because he doesn't have any.
I'm sure that's an over exaggeration.
No, it's not.
And let me tell you, the things that I'm pulling up are long.
It's not an over exaggeration.
But I can't read through the whole thing and like.
It's not an over exaggeration. He literally doesn't have healthcare policy. I'm being serious. He's been hating on the ACA and Obamacare since 2015, and he said that he wants to replace it with something better, but he's never come out with a plan.
Okay.
He doesn't have healthcare policy. Listen, take another second to look for it while I thank a couple people for their donations. Mellis, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. By the way, I just want to, these aren't my words. These are going to be the words of my viewers, sir.
Yeah, and you support them. You laugh and you give it a thumbs up and you act like an asshole.
Mellis, thank you so much for the $20 on Super Chat. Who says, somebody come get their crybaby bitch. Mellis, disrespectful. Thank you for the $20. Show some love to Mellis for the love, but not for the disrespectful message. Feisty, thank you so much for the $10 on Super Chat. Who says, I'm 53 piss boy. Disrespectful. Show some love to Feisty in the chat for the $10, but once again, big nod of disapproval there. Zach, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat as well. Who says, caller, be smarter or cry harder. Zach, you're really pushing the line here, buddy, but thank you for the $20, as well as Coral. Thank you for the $20 on Super Chat as well, who says, ironic how he calls you disrespectful when he's the one interrupting you, not answering your questions and calling the chat immature, projecting just like a piss boy. What, Coral? Walking on thin ice, pal, calling him a piss boy. I mean, big nod of disapproval. Once again, let's see if we have anybody else to thank here. Yo, oh my God. Yo, I'm going to call you Champs. I think that's your name. I'm so sorry if I don't know how to pronounce it. Champs, thank you so much for the $100 over on Venmo. Holy shit, Champs. That is CHAMCE. Champs with a $100 says, guest came in with no plan to argue Donald Trump being a better president than expects you to Google his argument for him. What an entitled spoiled brat. Dude, let's get 1,000 Champs W's down below in the comment section. 1 second, buddy. Be respectful of my donations. Champs, thank you for the $100. Let's get 1,000 Champs W's down below. Seriously, that is so kind. As well as Shea, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo, who says rage baiting the baby guest tonight has been amazing. Yeah, dude, I need to stop rage baiting. It's I need to stop it. It's terrible. As well as Courtney, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Matt, thank you for the $5. Matthew, thank you for the $5. And Mackenzie, thank you for the $10, who says Harris had no plan yet Trump has concepts of a healthcare plan when he's already had 4 years in office at that point. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Absolutely insane. As well as Mad Scramble, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo, who says supporting a president who continually oppresses and commits crimes against women, actively disrespects women. They will never have my respect. Yeah, no, it is an active form of disrespect towards women to support Trump. Absolutely. As well as Jessica, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo. Sorry, not the 15, for the 5. As well as Darlene with the $5, who says, please call the guest a piss boy on my behalf for freedom of speech. Love you, Dean. Thank you, Darlene. As well as Crystal, thank you for the $5. Amy with the $5. Kelly with the $1. Bailey with the $5. Jessica with the $5. Julia, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. I think that we're all caught up over there. Seriously, you guys, thank you all so much for the kindness over on Venmo. Let's go and check out PayPal now. Holy shit. Yeah, we got a bit over here. Christopher Thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal. Let's show some love to Christopher down below in that chat, as well as Sarah. Thank you for the $40 PayPal donation. Sarah with a $40 says, thank you for showing all these MAGA supporters that what they support is 100% wrong and not making America great, but doing the complete opposite. Sarah, I appreciate you for your support. I'm happy that you enjoy what we do here. Thank you for the $40 and your kind words. Let's get 400 Sarah W's, as well as 150 Wendy W's for the $15. Alyssa with a 5, Aaliyah with a 5, Amber with a 2. Thank you guys all so much for the love. I would also like to thank Randy. Thank you for the $20 on Super Chat, who says, you give me hope for my grandchildren. Thank you, Randy. As well as, let's see here, Delta Hero, thank you so much for the $5. Mark, thank you for the $17.87 over on PayPal, who says, ... just saying it's the caller's job to find facts to support their argument, not yours, Dean. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't create the argument, though.
Thank you so much. For the love, Mark. Yeah, the creation of the argument was you saying that Donald Trump has healthcare policy.
No, I didn't. I didn't. You were the one who started. Okay, I'm going to list off Kamala's policies, and I want you to bring me Trump's policies. I didn't create that scenario because I know that I don't know every single fucking one. So why would I create that argument?
So what happened was
you created the argument.
So what happened was I created the argument of going through the individual policies in each category of each candidate. We started with healthcare. I gave you Kamala Harris's healthcare policy. Then I asked you for Trump's, and then you said, I don't know. Then I was like, there, you got it. Donald Trump doesn't have any healthcare policy. And then you were like, Dean, just because I don't know doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm not on Google. I'd have to go find it. And then I was like, okay, so do it, right? But like in that statement there, you saying, I don't know what his healthcare policy, but he definitely has healthcare policy. That is the creation of the argument that we're looking to you to justify.
Sure. Oh, sure. I guess. I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable on that. And I guess, okay, if I'm going to give you an olive branch and say, okay, he doesn't have one, I'm going to agree with you and say he doesn't have one. That to me, that's not, oh, he doesn't have a health policy? Fuck, I guess I got to stop supporting Trump now.
Well, I mean, it's just in response to your original claim that you don't think Kamala Harris had any policy. Here, ask me about like a category of policy that you'd say Kamala Harris didn't have any in.
Dude, what I'm saying is...
State like a single category of policy, foreign or domestic, that you don't think Kamala Harris had policy in. Do it.
You're trying to put me in a box.
Dude, I'm just asking you for like, what's one type of policy Kamala Harris doesn't have? You told me that she didn't have any policy.
I'm sure she had
specify one type of policy that she didn't have?
Okay, so by me saying, oh, she didn't have any policies, that must mean 100% concrete fact that I mean she had zero policies, that she just walked in and said, I'm gonna give everyone cookies. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what
that's taking what I said to an extreme.
No, you said she doesn't have any policy. I'm so sorry. Are you saying that when you said she doesn't have any policy, you didn't mean that she doesn't have any policy?
Yeah, it was an over exaggeration. I mean, that's pretty. Okay. It's pretty obvious.
So then, what did
I don't mean that she has zero policy.
Okay, I want you to be literal, direct, and specific. What did you mean to say?
Okay, well, you said that I was uneducated for not knowing all the policies that she had brought forth.
That's not what I said, nor that's not what I asked you. So once again, the question that I asked you
that's crazy.
Is when you said that Kamala Harris doesn't have any policy, and that's why she was the worst of two evils.
Yes, I'm about to answer your question.
That's not what you meant. So what did you mean to say instead?
That, and I'm telling you the answer to your question right now. Don't say that I'm not, because I'm telling you what the answer to your question is right now, is that from what I saw from her campaign, and I watched through her campaign the entire time, and this goes for a lot of people. If you look at a video on of people interviewing people who are voting for Kamala Harris, like why are you voting for her? They would often have the exact same statement that I'm saying now, is that they don't even know. They don't even know. Her whole campaign, oh, I can't say whole. I can't say exactly literal because you're going to take it for a T. No. But most of her fucking campaign was about, women empowerment or whatever the fuck. And it wasn't actually about real shit of why I want this person to be president.
Okay.
Yep. And so it's not uneducated. It's just that her campaign was not very good. And even leftists agree that her campaign was not good when she failed to win office. They all said that. That her campaign was not very good.
Okay, so you're saying that her campaign wasn't that good. And in her campaign, she didn't inform you about what her policy was.
Sure, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, so you're wrong. So before the election, because of her campaign, I was well aware that she ran on the economic policy of wanting to cut taxes for 125 million American citizens in the low and the middle class. I also knew that she wanted to increase the child tax credits to $6,000 for the first year of the child's life, $3,600 for the second through the fifth, and $3,000 from the fifth to the 17th. I also knew that according to the Treasury, her policy was estimated to cost around $2.3 trillion, and by increasing the corporate tax rate and marginal tax rates on individuals making at or over $400,000 per year, that she would actually be paying this off over the course of the next 10 years. I also knew that she ran on the social policy of wanting to codify every woman and girl's right to choose access to abortion at the federal level, and the immigration policy of Lankford's border bill that her and Biden tried to get passed of hiring more judges to run more courts on the southern border to expedite legal claims of immigration and naturally disincentivize undocumented entry. I also knew that she ran another related policy, like limiting the amount that any American citizen could pay out of pocket for private pharmaceuticals to $2,000 per year, or as I already stated, giving Medicaid a greater renegotiated ability with private pharmaceutical companies to save our government $500 billion over the course of the next 10 years. Right? Like, these are all policies that Kamala Harris ran on the election that I knew because she ran on them, and she told me what they were, either on the TV, in the debate with Trump, or on her website that she made sure to publicize literally everywhere on all of her social media and spoke about in multiple interviews and sit-downs. Now, if you're telling me that you just simply weren't aware of any of these policies, well,
Dude,
that is
you're in the
actually
political
your
sphere.
fault. That is your
You're
fault.
in the sphere.
That is,
you live and breathe politics, man.
Don't interrupt me. Very disrespectful. Sit down.
Sure.
This is actually your fault as an uninformed voter, right? And your ignorance doesn't justify your support of a 34-count convicted felon, adjudicated rapist that is actively eroding the social and moral foundation of this country by normalizing rape, by normalizing misogyny, by normalizing racism, while also passing the big beautiful bill to reduce the purchasing power of over half of Americans and taking health care away from 10 million Americans in the process, and in taking food stamps away from 3 million Americans in the process, while also normalizing hate and violence by uprooting, right, the moral foundation that I think existed under people like Obama and Biden to a certain extent, by specifically targeting individuals on the basis of their race or ethnicity, getting the Supreme Court to approve racial profiling in ICE arrests, and then having undocumented immigrants illegally detained and deported, such as Abrigo Garcia, who was sent to CCOT and then had SCOTUS rule his removal was illegal, or the Venezuelan immigrants that were loaded on planes and deported to CCOT as well. Meanwhile, we had federal judges ruling that they couldn't send them to CCOT because they were granted no right to due process, right? Like, obviously your ignorance does not justify your support of Trump.
Dude, most people are not in the political sphere. Most people don't do this every day and are constantly in the news cycle like you. Okay. Most people
that doesn't change the fact that
are
it's
not
still your
informed
ignorance.
on every single thing.
That doesn't change the fact that it's still your ignorance.
Countless videos on people on your side and the right. And I'm not even going to specify. Okay, the left is bad. I'm saying literally, you can look at countless videos of the left. And why are you voting for Kamala Harris? And they won't know. They don't know what to tell you.
Regardless of what the explanation is for your ignorance, it still doesn't justify supporting Trump, right?
No, I think he was the lesser of three evils versus Biden and Kamala Harris.
Okay, and why was he the lesser of the evils with Kamala Harris? Because obviously it had nothing to do with her lack of policy. She had a lot of great policy.
Okay, let me give it to you like this, okay? Because you want to ask me, okay, specific, like, what's this policy, what's that policy?
No, I'm just asking you why you think that he's a lesser of two evils.
I'll tell you, I'm
literally just asking you why you think he's a lesser of two evils. Given the fact, how about this? Let me ask you a better question. Go ahead and give me an argument to demonstrate that if Kamala Harris had won the election, America would be worse off today. Give the argument, pal.
Okay. I think that when Biden was in office, that the economy went to fucking shit. The economy got terrible. And all that I saw from Kamala Harris was there's going to be a continuation of that.
Continuation of the policy under Biden? Sure.
Yeah, I saw this is going to continue to decline and continue to get worse.
Now you're making a equivocation. Because I actually don't think that the policy of Biden caused the economy to get worse. I think that the policy of Biden caused the economy to get better. So actually, what I want you to do is go ahead and demonstrate how Biden and Harris's policy caused the American economy to get worse.
Dude, and again, see, and you haven't done this with your other debaters, okay? You haven't asked them for exact specific policies, which
Dude, I asked this
that's pretty
question.
crazy.
I've been asking. This is probably
and you know this, and I already told you that.
Dude,
I don't know
dude,
that.
Stop whining, piss boy. Holy shit. This is probably the most frequent question I ask on this live. Okay, right? The most frequent argument for why people were voting for Trump prior to the election, we don't hear as much anymore, is that under Biden, inflation was high. Under Biden, gas costs a lot. The only counter argument I ever give to this position is you cannot basically assume that whatever happens in the American economy is caused by the president, because that is a correlation causation fallacy. Sometimes I will use an example of like unemployment being at an all-time high in April of 2020 at 14.8% under Trump's first term. Then I ask, well, do you blame that on Trump? And you're like, no, which demonstrates that external variables can influence and impact how and what things happen inside of the American economy. So then I ask the follow-up question that if you want to make the argument that Biden and Harris were culpable for like negative macroeconomic trends in 2021 and 2022, then you'd have to explain what they did to cause them. And when I'm asking you, well, what bad economic policy did Biden and Harris pass? In all reality, I'm just asking.
Don't you say the same thing about Trump?
Do to cause the high levels of unemployment? What did Biden and Harris do to cause the high levels of inflation? That's all that I'm asking.
Listen, man, you just said that Trump being in office makes normalization of grape.
Yes.
Okay, so don't you do the exact same thing when you talk about Trump, even though you just said that there's other factors at play, not just whoever is the president?
Well, the difference is I could give an argument.
Economy and whatever else.
Well, the difference is I could give an argument to prove how Donald Trump being in office normalizes violent sexual abuse against women. But you can't give an argument to prove how Biden being in office caused inflation. Can you?
Isn't it the president's job to... is that what part of the president's job to fix the economy? To make sure it's going better with whatever policies, whatever fucking executive orders, or whatever he does, that's his job.
Okay, yeah, and I would say that he did that job incredibly well.
Why would you say that? I mean, the economy is shit.
Oh, well, the reason why I'd say that Biden did his job incredibly well is because what caused the economy to be really bad wasn't him. It was the pandemic. And I mean, like the levels of inflation we saw were global, not just here in America. They happen in every country. But because of the gallant leadership of the Biden-Harris administration and their awesome domestic economic policy, we saw the quickest rebound from the inflation onset by the pandemic compared to any other country in the G7, right? But your argument is that, well, they actually caused those bad economic trends. How do they cause them?
I don't think they caused them. I didn't say that.
Okay,
I said
well, if they didn't cause
under
them,
his under his president.
It is their job to fix it, and I would say that they took adequate and appropriate means to fix the. Even though, sit down, piss boy. Sit down, piss boy.
Ridiculous.
So you want to assume
it's hypocritical.
Dude,
what have I said? What have I done?
Dude, that was really disrespectful of you.
What reason do you think that you have to be an asshole? To be condescending?
You just made fun of my anxiety pin.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, that was really disrespectful of you.
Who are you to take this high ground, act like you're so superior?
That was really... I'm gonna need you to hold yourself with a higher level of decorum and more respect.
Seriously. I'm asking you a serious question. You're not funny, bro. You're an asshole. You're being an asshole for no reason. What did I say? What did I do to cause that?
Could you mute yourself and unmute yourself real quick?
Why?
Because the chat can't hear you right now. Thank you. I actually just lied to you. It was glitching out on my end, and it wasn't giving me the ability to mute you because it just said you were already muted, even though you weren't. I appreciate you for fixing the glitch. Very kind of you. So now I'm actually going to mute you so I could have a chance to speak here. Okay, all right. So yeah, I told you to sit down, piss boy, because I think that you've been like making incredibly like half-assed like anti. Here's like an example of that, where you told us that you think that they mismanaged like the economy under their term, and then I responded to that. I was like, well, what? Their economic policy was great. Which economic policy did they pass? It was bad. And then you try to like blame it on me. You try to make it my fault that you didn't know one of their economic policies. Disrespectful, by the way, piss boy. And then I went on to say, well, like, hey, listen, man. So the inflation that we had in America under their presidency wasn't caused by them. It was caused by the pandemic, and they actually managed that inflation better with their great policy than compared to any other country in the G7. And then he responded to that. And you were like, oh my God, Dean, well, they could have done more. And then I was like, hey, can you tell me what more they could have done? And then you were like, I'm not a politician. Okay, sure. Well, if you're not a politician, therefore you don't know what more they could have done, then how do you know that they could have done more? Answer that, piss boy. If not being a politician means you don't know what they could have done, then wouldn't not being a politician mean that you don't know they couldn't have done more? They could have done more?
What are you asking me?
If you not being a politician means that you don't know what they could have done more to stop the inflation, then how do you know that they could have done more to stop the inflation?
Because they're the experts, right? That's what they're hired for, right? That's like if I got hit by a car and I went to the doctor, and then the surgeon says, "Oh, there's no more I could have done," but he fucking like attaches your arm to your leg. Yeah, I think you probably could have done a better job.
Oh, okay. So, all right, great analogy, okay? Because like there's people that die in the ER every single day when being operated on by a surgeon or a doctor. And obviously in many of those circumstances, we'd say even though the patient died, the operator couldn't have done more, right? Even though that they're a skilled professional technician. Now, the analogy that you gave demonstrated, right, something that the doctor did to the patient that was wrong or bad, like attaching one of their arms to their legs, right? And in that circumstance, it would make no sense to say that they couldn't have done more, because what they could have done more would have been not doing the stupid bad thing of attaching their arm to their leg. So in the same sense, right, what was the stupid bad thing that the Biden-Harris administration did to like royally fuck over the American economy? What was the bad economic policy they passed?
Dude, I made a metaphor.
What's like the
and you focus on one individual part and think that that's like, I'm standing on that as like, yeah,
what is
they
the
put an arm
equivalent?
where a leg is supposed to be.
Right.
That's definitely what I said,
Right,
man.
doing
That's
something
definitely
that's
what my point
wrong,
was.
right? Because in your example of like saying that the surgeon could have done more, you specifically said
That's a
that
silly
you had
way to
knowledge
debate, man.
of that
Silly
surgeon
way to
doing
debate.
something wrong.
You take an
Disrespectful,
analogy.
piss boy.
Disrespectful fucking anxiety pain. I'm a fucking asshole for no fucking reason because I think I'm so fucking smart.
Somebody's crashing out. Pfft, not me, it's you. Check yourself.
Dude, the whole time, you've just been crashing out.
Bro,
You're trying to
why are you
rage baiting.
getting, why are you getting mad at me because you can't answer the question? Oh my God. Dude, little men and their ego complexes drive me insane. I have to put up with this shit all day.
Ego complex.
every day.
Isn't that what you've been doing this whole time?
Dude.
You've been calling me names. You've been an asshole this whole time. For what?
Okay, let's get this straight. When I call you a name like Piss Boy, it's not because I'm egotistical. It's because...
it literally is. It literally is. You think you're so much better, bro.
No, listen.
Because you're like having a debate like, oh, I'm the fuck.
The reason why I'm calling you Piss Boy is because you're being pissy. How many times do I need to repeat that? Okay? Like, being egotistical is not necessary to conclude that you are being pissy as fuck and embarrassing yourself in the process. Okay, I could be Jesus fucking Christ, born again in the flesh, and if you were being as pissy as you are, I would still call you a piss boy. Okay? Right? Not my fault that I recognize
How am I being
reality for
pissy?
what it is.
By calling you out on disrespect?
Right. I will happily explain to you how you're being pissy after you tell me, right, one thing that the Biden-Harris administration did in the mismanagement of the American economy. You were trying to engage in meta conversation surrounding my personal attacks on your character, including but not limited to piss boy, right, to avoid the question of what did the Biden-Harris administration do that was bad for the American economy. Now, in attempting to facilitate your answering to this question, I will promise you that I will not call you a piss boy or personally attack or insult your character until you answer the question. Okay?
I don't
no
know
more
the
insults.
answer to
Just
that
answer the question.
I don't know. I can't tell you specifically the answer to that. It's very, very specific question that you're asking me.
Great. So if you don't know like anything that they did bad or wrong to mismanage the American economy, then how do you know that they could have done better?
Bro, that's their job. That's their job.
Wait, but their job is obviously going to have like
you think you're
realistic
going to tell me right now that they did the absolute 100% best that they possibly could have done?
I don't think that they reasonably could have done better. Indeed. Prove me wrong.
I don't believe that. I think that's a matter of opinion too.
Then prove it wrong.
That's just your opinion.
Give reason for your opinion the same way I could give reason for mine. Or are you just telling me that you hold baseless opinions with no speculative evidence whatsoever? piss boy.
Okay, anxiety pin. What is your reason as to why they 100% couldn't have done anything better? They did the absolute best they could possibly do.
Yeah, outperforming every other country in the G7 and passing some of the best policies.
That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean shit.
Well, it doesn't mean shit on its own, but well, actually, it does mean shit on its own.
The economy is so trash.
But I was not done speaking.
So just because they outperformed other countries, that means they did the absolute 100% best that they possibly could have done.
That's actually not the only reason. I was still talking and you interrupted me.
Oh, just like you interrupted me this entire time.
Okay, should I just kick you?
Bro, do whatever you want, man. I mean, you don't...
Like, holy fucking shit, you are so goddamn annoying. Like, dude, you asked a question, I start answering the question, you interrupt me midway through, like 4 words in, and you're like, so that's the reason why you think this, even though I wasn't done. And then I was like, hey man,
that's the exact same thing you do.
Not the only reason.
That's what you do to all of your listeners.
Okay, give me an example. Putting you on the spot.
Bro, you have asked. Okay, answer my question. Okay, let's see.
Motherfucker!
You did it just now, moron.
Jesus
moron, you're a fucking retard. You did it just
now. Oh my god!
You did it just now.
Now the guy that came up here. Now the guy that came up here screaming about respect. The guy that came up here screaming about how we need to be nicer to one another. The guy that came up here screaming about how we just need to be so kind and civil and we need to have good diet. Dude, is now screaming the R word. You know what? Just for old time's sake. Just for old time's sake, let's go ahead and go back to the beginning of that conversation and listen to he was talking and contrast it to, you know, how we left it on. Jay, ask me about like a category of policy that you'd say Kamala Harris didn't have any in.
A plan. She's going to help.
For not being nice enough and so much, bro. As well as
KKK. They were spamming little dick emojis. Okay. The girl right after that, the first thing that she came on and said was, I think everyone should be nicer to each other and be more respectful. And the first thing I saw was laughing emojis and baby bottle emojis.
So you're misinterpreting the chat, or you're misrepresenting them better off. So when they're spamming KKK, they're spamming KKK in response to me having... What happened to that attitude, man? Where did that go? People who can... Right? That's not KKK.
I just think, and you called a guy a piss boy because you were simply disagreeing with him. He was never rude or disrespectful to you. I think my point is
okay. And there's another misrepresentation. I gave back. You think of our head.
You want me? Okay. No, I mean just my point is sure, and honestly, yeah, I don't agree with the guy either. I don't agree with what he said either. I just think, and this goes for the left and the right, it goes for whatever your viewpoint is, unless a person is being disrespectful or rude to you, I think everyone should try to be better, try to be nice. That's just my opinion. I think the chat can be pretty childish.
Okay, so there's where he started. Let's see where he ended.
The answer to that very, very specific question that you're asking me.
Great. So if you don't know, like, anything that they did bad or wrong to interpreting the chat, or you're misrepresenting them better off.
Oh wait, what the hell?
And if you were being as pissy as you are,
bro, do whatever you want, man. I mean, you don't...
Like, holy fucking shit, you are so goddamn annoying. Like, dude, you asked a question, I start answering. Reason why you think... Not the only reason.
Bro, you have asked... Okay, answer my question. Okay, let's see.
Motherfucker!
You did it just now, moron.
Jesus
moron. You're a fucking retard. You did it just
now.
Oh
my god! Dude, I swear to God, these goddamn MAGA hypocrites. These MAGA hypocrites, dude. These MAGA fucking hypocrites here. I got to thank a handful of people. Real quick, Sierra, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. I really appreciate you for the love. Sierra says, how does he talk so much and say literally nothing? That's a really good question. Show some love to Sierra, as well as Max. Thank you for the $20 over on Super Chat, who says, Dean, thank you for always standing with the minority, the disenfranchised, the marginalized, the poor, and the voiceless. We desperately need more people like you, and we love you so much. Listen, Max, I really appreciate you for your kind words. Show some love to fucking Max down below. And honestly, dude, like, what we do here, like, generates more people that do the same thing. Like, when I got into this, I would see, like, nobody on the internet, like, seeking out political debate, trying to have, like, good conversation. Like, now, it's like it's a whole industry. It's like a whole niche. You know what I mean? And I love that so many more people are like inspired to get into like political debate and have these conversations to hopefully make our country better. You know, I think it's awesome. I would also like to thank Christina. Thank you so much for the $100 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Christina. Let's get 1,000 Christina W's down below in that chat. Thank you so much for the love. Christina with $100 says, I've heard you say that you don't consider yourself to be considerate, but you are. You are considerate of the American people as a whole. You have opened my eyes to the corruption, and I hope you never stop. Christina, thank you for the $100. That is fucking nuts. Thank you so much for the love. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm considerate for the betterment of humanity, and I'm kind of inconsiderate to the views that oppose that. You know what I mean? Like, I want them gone, and I think the way that I choose to try to get them gone is just exposing how, like, ignorant and irrational they are. Thank you so much for the love. That is so incredibly kind of you. As well as this came in 27 minutes ago. I really hope that you're still here. Peter, thank you for the $100 on Venmo as well. Peter with the $100 says, keep on doing what you do best, cooking maggot cultists, and stay safe. Thank you, Peter. It's so good to see you again. It's been a while, man. Hope you're well. Thank you so much for the $100, dude. Show some love to Peter down below. As well as Drew, thank you for the 10. Elena, thank you for the 25. Thank you, Elena. Sarah, thank you so much for the $25 as well. Sarah says, reformed Trump supporter. Thanks in a large part to you. That's awesome. Fuck yeah, Sarah. I'm happy to hear that you've left the cult. Thank you for the $25. Alex, thank you for the $10. And then Champs, thank you so much for another $100 over on Venmo. Jesus Christ, you guys are being so kind tonight. This came in 15 minutes ago. Champs, that is spelled CHAMCE, with $100, says the guest criticizes Harris for having quote unquote no plan, then clearly did no planning nor research before casting his vote at the ballot for a candidate that literally had no healthcare plan on top of many others. Guest is probably a spoiled boy who is still on his parents' health insurance and phone plan. Most likely, Champs. You kind of ate up there. Thank you so much for the $100. Show some love to Champs down below. As well as Rihanna, thank you for the $20. Courtney, thank you for the 10. Woo! We are all caught up over on Venmo. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for your kindness. You guys have been unrealistically kind today. Just thank you guys so much for the love. As well as Jane, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Jane. Emery, thank you for the $1. Heidi, thank you for the $5, just so you can call him Piss Boy again. Thank you, Heidi. Christopher, thank you for the $5. Michelle, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal. Michelle says he's proving he didn't know any of the candidates' policies. His condescension is unearned. You're so fucking condescending. Holy shit. As well as Mina, thank you for the $13 over on PayPal, who says, from Australia, you're a star. Thank you for the love, Mina. As well as Victoria, thank you so much for the $5. Jasmine with the 10, thank you so much. And then Oder, that is ODDUR, thank you so much for the $25 on PayPal. Thank you, Oder. Oder says, please upload this conversation with a sensitive guy as a clip/YouTube video, Lamau. Been watching for a year, and this is one of the funniest convos. Love from Iceland. Thank you for the love, Oder. You're awesome. Thank you for the $25. I'll probably end up uploading that one. And okay, chat, at this point in time, it is now 6:30 p.m. out here in Colorado. Our live has like 3 restrictions. So if you're curious insofar as why we went from like 13K viewers to 7, it's because TikTok stopped our push on the For You page like forever ago. And I actually have to go grab a dinner with my girlfriend and her sister and her sister's fiance. They got engaged last week. So we're going to go out to a little bit of a dinner with them, just kind of celebrate the engagement. Plus, I got to start getting to know my sister's, sorry, not my sister's, my girlfriend's sister's. Jesus Christ, I'm so tired. I'm lost. Holy shit. My girlfriend's sister's fiance. It's a little bit confusing, but I guess you're following. I got to start getting to know him better because I guess he's going to be around. You know, they're getting married, man. Holy shit. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the night. I will see you all tomorrow. Parker should be on super duper soon. That's going to be at Parker Get a Job on TikTok and at Parker Get a Job on YouTube. Peace and love, everyone. I appreciate you for showing up. Bye, y'all.